should be. Yeah, now we're live. We're live. Ladies and gents, welcome back. We're doing another Marty and Clyde show. And guess what? It's Marty couldn't come. So I got the next best thing. We got Mark Nixon here tonight.
Yeah, hopefully I don't disappoint for the audience.
I doubt it'll be a disappointment. It's just going to be fun in a different sort of way, which we had a lot of fun last time you were on. So I was like, heck yeah, we gotta do this again. And I bet you, well, Marty's gonna be the real judge, because Marty's gonna come back and he's like, who did you get?
Well, I like Marty. He's pretty good. He always has some great discussion points. So that's why I say, hopefully I don't disappoint.
Well, absolutely. So for the preamble for everybody, the way this works, Marty and I, we've been doing this show for over 3 years now. And it started off as just like a recorded podcast. And then, we would just publish it, record it on a Wednesday night, and then publish it on a Thursday morning. And then it turned into a live show, because Marty kept saying like, hey, well, I just love the immediate feedback you get from places like Twitter. And I said, well, you don't know immediate feedback until you've been live on the internet, on YouTube or on Rumble now. And we're going out to all kinds of places now. So you can watch us now on Rumble, YouTube, X, Facebook. We're on Mark Nixon's YouTube as well tonight. So yeah, we're going out to all these different places. So no matter where you're watching, enjoy it, have some fun, and we'll get into all this stuff. And we got one right out of the gate from Mercedes, so I'll just hit that one up. Says for $10, thank you so much, by the way, really appreciate that, especially in this economy. Holy cow. Says, remember, there's always a release valve to political change. If they take away real elections and introduce totalitarianism, there's still things will still change. It just may need a high-speed lead supplement. Well, I'll keep it at the analogies there and don't go any further, because we know how YouTube takes those kinds of comments. That's for sure. So hopefully it doesn't come to that, because they want to take away the lead supplement. What do you call it? Insertion devices.
Yeah, so
dispensers.
We actually have some good news on the vitamins. They're moving to approve the use of vitamins right now. Like well,
hold on to that story, because I want to hit that up, because you're a real health nut, right? You're a real healthy dude.
Yeah, but I also so when I 12 years ago, I had trouble breathing from like allergies, probably our food's toxic. So I started getting on some vitamins that saved my life. Vitamins. They try to do, wow. On the medical side, they gave me some spray, steroid spray, some other stuff. I'm like, how long do I have to take this stuff for? And they're like, forever. I'm like, this is not going to work. So I went to a naturopath, and then we sorted it out. And then when I heard that the Liberals are going after our vitamins, I linked up with Sean Buckley. He's a fantastic guy.
I've had him on the show.
Yeah, he's fighting for our natural products. And he had the largest petition in Canadian, second largest petition, hand signed. He delivered it to the House. And it looks like it's moving along. So, and the Liberals are on side with it as well. So it's good news. We could look into it. I could open it up and we could look at it, but there'll be that big announcement when it's official. But we got lots of things to talk about today. So
there's plenty. So back to the preamble. So, the way Marty and I do this, we usually talk, because we're doing it live now. We usually try to keep it to the show. So the show is us talking about a number of subjects for about an hour, and then we get into questions, comments, that kind of thing. So if you're watching, you're like, hey, why is Mark and Clyde not talking about or talking to the audience? Well, it's because for the first bit, we're going to be talking just to each other, and then we'll get to your comments. So hang tight. We'll get to them. This is live. So that's just that. One last one before we get right into it. Wickenden for $2 says wireless freedom seed dispensers. Yeah, that's another way to describe them. If you don't get them taken away, which we're gonna get into that as well. And that should be maybe one of the top stories, one of the very first things to talk about tonight, because I've got a clip. So we'll get into that. Anyway, without further ado, why don't we just dive right in.
Yeah, what do you got for us to start off? I got all sorts of stuff. I've been busy today on my Twitter X. Anybody out there that doesn't follow me on Twitter, if you want to see live news, I'm clipping things. I'm putting, what's going on in Canada. And then later on, I usually make a YouTube long form on all the stuff I did. So it's kind of like a sneak peek to what I'm up to. But
well, that's good. Well, I was going to give you the preamble right out of the gates so that when I publish the video, got that. So we'll start off with the usual. Marty? No, you're not Marty. You're Mark Nixon. Thank you so much for joining tonight. We're going to be, you're filling in for Marty because Marty's busy. He's really, really busy with this Alberta Prosperity Project stuff. He's been asked to go and speak at all these different events. So I thought you're a great person to fill in Marty's shoes. I thought, why not? Let's roll with the punches. Now, for everybody who doesn't know you immediately, I'm sure a ton of people in the audience do. Where can people find you? What is it that you do?
Yeah, so I'm independent content creator in Canada. I'm all over the place. I'm Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and on each platform, I put out some different stuff. It's not the same across all the platforms. YouTube as well. And X, I'm very active on X. Between all of my accounts, I was shocked when I counted. It's like close to 500,000. I'm sure there's duplicates. But I've grown quite big in Canada, and I appreciate everybody that watches my show.
Well, that's awesome. Mark, we're going to get into some of these stories. And I love that you're rocking your own merch on the show. I'm doing it for the first time probably ever as well. So for everybody who wants to get some of that, of course, on Mark Nixon's channel, I'm sure it's just in the description of every video. It should be. Or in the description of your channel.
I'm surprised. So you got black and white as well. My brand's black and white normally. So.
Well, we've got navy and white, and we've got other colors, but I just like the black and white, and I'm representing the inflation equals theft, which of course we're gonna get into some of that today because that's what's happening. We're just getting thieved here in Canada. It's unreal, and a lot of people are. Oh, doing what I'm doing, getting the hell out of here. I don't know how long many other people are going to last, but that's just the gist of how things have been going lately. But before we got started, there was a lot of people in the chat, and for those that are watching this after the fact, this is recorded live, and you can check that out every Wednesday evening. And in fact, I go live quite often on the channel, so make sure that you subscribe to the channel so you can find out when we go live. But we were talking about this, and the whole idea came about was what's the old expression, the seed or the tree of liberty is watered from time to time by the blood of tyrants and patriots. Well, that's the old expression. Well, the idea is like tyrants, the first thing I ever want to do is take away people's ability to take their own action. And well, they always try to say that it's not about that thing. It's about your safety, folks. We just want to keep you safe. Even if it comes to just taking away a plinking gun, like the kind of gun that you might have at your family residence to go out with dad on a Saturday and shoot at pop cans, or maybe get rid of some gophers out in the field or something like that. And it's funny because that's the reality of the situation. They've taken away everything in Canada up until the point where they're taking away things that are not meant for any bad stuff, but just meant for what people would do in their spare time. Now I've got this video here. This is from Parliament. It's just crazy. They're talking about the gun buyback where they're trying to take everyone's guns away. What is it? They want to get people to pay for. They'll pay for people's guns at pennies on the dollar for what they paid for. But this just caught my eye. I just wanted to get your reaction.
Just one second before you play this. You have to give some context. So the Liberals, they picked this woman. There's a reason that they picked this woman. They picked this woman because 37 years ago, she was part of the Quebec where there was. Firearms used, and she was part of it. Right. So she experienced this thing. So they used her. They used her.
Is that who
as
she
a prop.
is?
Yeah. So, I mean, we could all agree that what happened to her is devastating. And so that's how they get you to be like, you know what, we agree that this should have never happened. And then she's got the, magical solution, right? So it's a trick that they use. But us Canadians are looking at this like, this is not going to solve her grief. Her grief is there. It's not going to solve her grief. They're using her as a prop. And then now we can take a look at this clip.
Absolutely. Let's have a look here.
No one supports the assault-style firearm compensation program. We are, and I quote, confiscating hunting rifles and pop can guns that are used on farm. I don't feel I am a duck or a gopher or a pop can. So please help us stop that disinformation. They are honest assault-style. They bought their firearms honestly.
If you hear that Freudian slip, they're honest. They're honest people. I mean, they bought their guns honestly, which they did. Actually, all these people did.
With goodwill. But if they are not registered by March the 21st, they won't be able to recuperate that money.
These are people who own these guns.
So this is the reality here. So what they've done is they said, and especially for the American audience that's watching this, as they confiscate guns in Canada, they've said, like these people bought these legally. They're legally acquired firearms, and people that bought these, they were told by the government later, we changed our mind. They're not legal anymore.
But it's not two guns. It's like 19,000 different types.
Yeah, tons of different variants.
And some of them are pop can guns. It's just because they look like they're scary, but they're just for pop cans.
Yes, that's right. And the fact is here, the government's saying like you have to register them by this date. Well, you have to register them, or when we confiscate them, we won't give you anything for it. That's just crazy. Well, like what's next? Like what's next? Your car, because of global warming, they're going to come in and say, well, it's dangerous to have a car. And instead of just grandfathering, like we're because they do want to ban cars, but instead of saying, well, we're banning all cars from today, but if you have a car, you can still use it. No. You have to register your car. And if you don't register your car by this date, you won't get anything. And the only reason why they want people to register them is because they don't know who the heck owns them. They don't know who has what. So this is a scare tactic. And of course, the gun lobby and a bunch of other people are saying, don't bite. Don't bite at all.
Well, so another thing is some of these people purchase these weapons for like 5,000, 10,000, and they're offering like $500.
Yeah.
So you're not even getting compensated. That you did everything right. You did. And these people that own these firearms, they're like fully like these are good people. They're not the criminals that like the weapons in Canada in crimes. That is the problem. And when you look at the statistics, 85% of the weapons that they're the law abiding weapons, or 85% are actually US. Then there's a 10% that is scratched off serial numbers. So they don't know where those came from. And then there's only 5% of the weapons are legally obtained, used in crimes. So where's the problem? The problem is the criminals that are getting these illegal weapons from over the border. This thing's not going to solve anything but piss off half of the country that own these firearms.
Yeah, that's it. They're just pissing people off. And it's insane. It's insane the level that they're willing to go to. And I mean, politically, is this the hill they're going to die on? I don't know. Because a lot of these people get voted in Quebec. These laws are very popular in Quebec for some reason. And yeah, I mean, where people vote. I mean, we saw in the last election where people own all the guns, that they voted all blue, and it didn't really do much of a difference because it only matters where people are voting in like Ontario and places like that. But so, and here's another added little tidbit to this story, which is going to come out in time. I had a friend reach out to me just today, and he said, I'm doing the buyback. I'm like, what, are you crazy? He says, yeah, I'm going to do the buyback because I'm moving to the US and I can't take these guns with me anyway. There's like some crazy restrictions at the border. So basically, and I've done videos about this, if you have certain guns, you will not be able to bring them with you. That's just bar none. You can't do it. So you're better off just get rid of them and then buy the same guns when you get there, because they're like, you can just buy them at a gun store, no problem, as long as you've done the proper paperwork and all that stuff. And there's not very much. It's just a background check and make sure that you're not a criminal. So my friend, he said, I'm gonna do this buyback so I can find out for everybody how much they actually give. So that this is kind of an interesting thing. He'll lose the guns anyway. When he leaves, he can't transfer them to anybody because that would be a felony. And so because he can't transfer them, he's going to do the buyback. So he signed up for it, and we'll find out for everybody just how much, like pennies on the dollar, they're actually offering for these firearms.
So I'm a data guy, so I have data for people. The government believes there's close to 1 million of these now so-called illegal firearms in Canada. And since this thing has a week left before, the compensation component is gone, they only collected 51,000 of 1 million. That's 5%.
That's not 5%. That's 0.5. Yeah.
0.5. It's
crazy.
insane. Nobody's actually participating, and this is the time where you actually get money for it. Imagine later on when you get no money for it. If they're not participating when you actually get something for it, imagine later on. I have some stuff that I'd love to share. I put a video up. Are you able to share that?
Yeah, I can share this here. I'll just pull mine down, put yours up.
I just want to say is that we got this video here. RPN's absolutely fantastic. And the thing is if we don't have comedy in our life, we're just going to get so upset. So this video is just perfect. I have to play it. Sorry.
Yeah, you have to play it. Yeah.
Okay.
See on yours.
I don't feel I am a duck or a gopher or a pup can.
Oh,
so
too funny.
Please help us stop that disinformation. I don't feel
disinformation.
Look at Gary's right there too.
Gary. Oh, Gary. Yeah, there he is. Oh, way too funny. Yeah, no, you're not a pop can, you're not a gopher, but that's what those things are for. So it's funny because in saying that, she's kind of defeating her own argument. You're not a gopher, you're not a pop can. So those firearms won't be used on you, and that's it. That's absolutely it. So, it just like the old adage says, like, guns don't kill people, people kill people.
So I have more
cars
data that I don't want to share.
School or drive you to work. People drive cars. What's you got more data. Okay,
yeah, share the screen. So today I published, there is some breaking news. Do you not see it?
I see it.
Yeah, right there. So there is some breaking news today. Get this, everybody. Gary, our public safety minister, came out, and the police officers are not going to be knocking on your door for these firearms that they're going to be grabbing. By the end of October, you have to hand in those 1 million firearms. Well, the police forces across Canada, many of them said they're not going to participate. So what they're looking to do is look to get retired police to enforce the liberal gun grab. So imagine that. A retired police officer is going to be arresting you and throwing you in jail for not turning in your gun.
It's not going to happen. Who's going to come out of retirement for this?
They're going to come out of retirement so they can knock on doors and start putting people in jail for not turning in their firearms.
Well, so there's a few different reasons why law enforcement don't want to do this job, right? One is they want to respect people's rights. They know that people have a right to bear arms. They have a right to have, firearms. It's always been the case. It may not be enshrined on our Constitution like it is in the United States, but we have a very similar culture to the United States and Canada. And a lot of people are like, nah, especially a lot of people in law enforcement. The other part is people in law enforcement don't want to go to your door to get your guns when people are like, yeah, don't come to my door knocking for my guns.
So what are they going to do? They get a search warrant and a retired police officer is going to walk into your house and take it? What's going to happen here?
I don't see that happening. I just don't see that. I see, I hate to say it, but like you're probably going to get a couple of screw loose people turning those things on the police, and that's not going to end pretty. It's not going to end pretty. And a couple people get popped, and then that's it for volunteers on this program. That's for sure. And what are they going to do? Get a SWAT team for every single household that has a gun registered? I don't think so.
But is this the best use of our resources?
Absolutely
not. We
not.
have so many problems in this country. This is a waste of time. If they wanted to actually make a difference, they would get rid of the catch and release, which they voted down. It's unreal. Today they voted down the catch and release. And then they also had a bill. They had 4 bills that they voted down, and they voted to approve Bill C9, jail you for a meme. So that video I just showed you, it's the courts that get to decide what is considered hateful. So what if they decide, hey, you dressed up somebody in a duck outfit, and then somebody knocks on your door? It's unreal what's going on. And the bills that actually...
What is it? What is the threshold for hate in this bill anyway?
It's not clearly defined, and they actually included, like, if you're reading religious, like, parts of the Bible could be problematic. It's unreal.
That's terrifying.
And listen to this: the court system that they're going to be relying on is the same court system that, remember that teacher, he $750,000 fine for saying there's only women and men.
That's right. And these are
the courts that they're going to decide what they deem as hateful. I mean, I published a video on my Twitter X today that some teenager in the UK got arrested by 7 police officers for something he posted on Facebook. I don't know what he posted on Facebook, but it was just an online post on Facebook, because UK has this Bill C9 and they're going full tilt on arresting the public.
Well, so this is crazy because it's crazy. You just mentioned the guy who got a $750,000 fine, which is like ruinous. Like you're ruined. You're ruined if you get a fine like that. Who could survive having to pay off $750,000 just for not believing in transgender?
But
so
they do that on purpose. So this is how it works. This is the lefty and the liberal whole thing. And we saw it during the pandemic with the trucker convoy, and their strategy is simple. What they do is they come down hard with the iron fist on a couple people, and it's over because people don't want that to happen to them. So for example, on this Bill C9, they'll arrest a few people, it will scare people. And even, so it's funny because people on the left are like, yeah, we need this Bill C9 because we trust everything the government does. We believe in CBC. And what occurs is even those people are going to self-censor themselves. And the reason is because they're going to be terrified when they see their neighbor get arrested for something they posted, like a meme or some kind of ridiculous thing. Some police officer's like, why was a police officer at your door? Well, I posted something that was controversial, and they came and so the lefties, they're going to be like, whoa, so maybe I can't say anything. So what happens is it dumbs down free speech.
For everybody,
because you don't know, because there's no clear definition. You'll be like, I don't know if I should post this because maybe this is, it's gray zone. So basically what occurs is it censors everybody across the country because we don't know what will get you. Like, you just don't know, right? So you're like, I better play it safe. So that's the whole point of this thing. They don't want people criticizing the government. They don't want us criticizing policies. They don't want us communicating freely with each other about problems that we're seeing. So what they do is we're all going to be self-censoring because we don't want to get into trouble. It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. And I think the United States is moving in the right direction with this. We have this news from today. Breaking: the Supreme Court just ruled that parents are allowed to opt out their children from being indoctrinated with LGBTQ propaganda. This was from Sean Foyt, the guy who came to Canada as a pastor and singer, and was, you remember he was kicked out from all these different locations throughout Canada. He just wanted to sing songs about Jesus, and that was too far. That was too far for Canada, man. That was like way out of bounds. Well, he posted this today, and this is, in my estimate, this is great news, and hopefully this has a ripple on effect coming up to Canada.
Regarding religious liberty and whether parents should be informed and be able to opt their children out from reading books in the classroom that go against their faith. Shannon Bream is at the Supreme Court. We were watching for this one. What's the verdict?
We were, Dana. So this brought together a coalition of parents of different religious faiths and backgrounds who said there used to be a rule in this particular school district that would let them know when there were books that dealt with issues that may be in conflict with their religious faith. Well, so many parents were opting out that the school board and the school district quit doing it. Well, 6-3 today in a decision by Justice Alito, they said these parents have earned at least a preliminary injunction. So while this case plays out, they said the board has to notify them about a book that's in question or anything similar, so that their kids can be excused if it's in conflict with their faith. He says, as we've explained, without that, parents are left this choice: either risk their child's exposure to burdensome instruction or pay substantial sums for alternative educational services. Because at one point, Justice Jackson, during the arguments, had said, why don't they just go to a different school? Why don't you put them in private school or homeschool them? Justice Alito and others saying that's not practical for a lot of people. The dissent by Justice Sotomayor, joined by Justices Kagan and Jackson, says today's ruling threatens the essence of public education. She says it's not about bringing kids together to learn about a particular faith, but a range of concepts and views that reflect our entire society. Exposure to new ideas has always been a vital part of that project until now. She didn't think, the dissenters didn't think, that the parents should get the opt-out. Justice Alito and the majority say they should.
Yeah, absolutely should. Yes,
Yeah.
Different new ideas are fine if they're ideas that your parents are okay with. The whole idea is that you have parental consent, and you can't just go above and beyond parental consent and show kids whatever the heck you want, challenge ideas and stuff. No,
but this is not university, Clyde.
No, it's not.
You could challenge ideas and throw all that stuff in university. Your brain is fully developed. Then you could challenge it. These children, that's the thing. Is kids need to be protected from gender anything, because if you're not able to reproduce and start a family, why are we teaching you gender stuff and sexual stuff? Leave the kids alone. The kids, the women and men as kids, they're the same. They're not, there's no sex as kids. They're the same. They're boys and girls are the same at that age. It's when you become an adult where you're developed. Then that's different, right? But kids, leave them alone. That's where I stand. Just leave the kids alone. Let kids be kids, play on the field, talk to other kids, leave the kids alone with the adult stuff. That's adult stuff. You're not going to be talking about adult stuff with kids. That's it. That's like the line in the sand. I don't understand why this is even controversial. It shouldn't be.
No, it should not be.
It's
that, yeah, if you're a parent and you just don't want your kids to see a particular thing, the argument there was, one of the arguments was, well, you should just be able to send your kids to private school. Like, I'm sorry, but like, not everybody can afford private school or to homeschool their kids. This is something that's supposed to be provided. We pay taxes for these things so that we can send our kids to school. But if we object to something that's being told there, we should be aware of what's being taught. And if we object to it, we should be able to pull our kids for that particular subject. Period.
Well, I don't even think we should be objecting to anything. It should be a safe place for kids.
Yeah.
That's accommodating to their wacko-ness, I think. We should just eliminate all of this, so there's no question. Like, we're going down a slippery slope accommodating these people.
That's absolutely right. Yes, we are. I see you got something up there. What were you trying to share here?
Yeah, so this is Bill C-9 was approved today in the House of Commons. That's the only crime bill. There was 5 crime bills that were put forwards. The other 4 were all common sense crime bills. This is the only one that should have got voted down. And this is the only one that was approved. Elizabeth May actually came out and said, I'm voting this thing down. The only reason this thing was approved was because Bloc Québécois propped up and voted with Mark Carney and the Liberals on this.
So what was their motivation, the Bloc Québécois, for voting with the Liberals on this? That doesn't make any sense.
Because the Bloc Québécois are, they're very left. They want to block all natural resource developments, oil and gas. Like they're basically gone. Full commie, basically. They're gone. And so they're like, oh yeah, we want to be able to go after free speech. That sounds great. Religious rights, yeah, those are gone. That's kind of where they're at. It's very discouraging to see. Like, we're such a large country. There's so many different provinces that have different mentality. Like, if the Quebec wants to do this Bill C9, let Quebec do it, or let Ontario do it. Why don't we do East Coast? If you guys voted Liberal, you guys get your Bill C9. Everybody that voted Conservative, there's no Bill C9 for you. Which provinces? And we'll all move to the provinces that voted for common sense. Like, this is ridiculous.
Well, that's not what the Liberals want. The Liberals, well, they don't want provinces to be able to make their own laws. That was like one of the stories that came out this week, which I thought was just absolutely ridiculous. So what was this? This was from the National Post. And they said, let me pop this one up here. Carney demands Supreme Court strip provinces of rights to pass their own laws. Did you hear about this?
That's dangerous. Very dangerous. The Supreme Court needs to get out, like, can't meddle with provinces, leave it with the province. Because you know why? If something happens in a province and you elect a new government, you could get it changed. But if you do it with the Supreme Court, it rules over all land. So that's why this is very problematic.
That's the whole idea that, they're trying to be royalty at this point. It's not a monarch. Well, I guess Canada is kind of a monarch, but I mean, Carney's not the king. The king of Canada is the king. And I mean, it's just a ceremonial sort of thing. And it's supposed to be, Canadians are supposed to be able to, through their representative government in their own provinces, pass laws in their own area. And then the federal government's coming in and usurping that power.
But Mark Carney's running this country like a king. That's why often you'll see in my social media posts, I'm like, oh, King Carney did this today. King Carney. I'm always saying King Carney because everything he does is just, we're going to do this. And I mean, even Elizabeth May said, she's like, this guy doesn't know anything about politics. He can't just ram through all of these things without discussion in Parliament. Like this Bill C9, they censored the discussion of their censorship bill because this is a censor. They censored that. And then after that, they talked about it a few days in the House of Commons. And then they said, yeah, forget that. We're just going to move forwards and get this thing approved, So, I mean, that's not democratic what they're doing.
No, not whatsoever. But, King Carney, as it would be, had his Marie Antoinette moment just today. So I caught this. I didn't watch the whole parliamentary what do you call it, question period. There's no answers, that's why I call it question period, right? It's just where they just have little passive aggressive spats in front of everybody. It's embarrassing, but he had this to say. It's unbelievable. Like, this guy's living on another planet where he thinks that Canadians are actually doing okay.
Affordability is the best it's been in over a decade.
Affordability is the best it's ever been in over a decade. Like, that is just what planet are you living on?
I watched the House of Commons. Unfortunately, it causes brain damage on a daily basis. I watch every single one of them amazingly. I don't know how I do it.
I don't know how you do it.
I watched them and I'm like, the Conservatives are bringing some data. Like, literally the data is presented. We have the data. We're showing the data. I'm like, the whole thing is burning behind us, guys. And then they have the audacity to say, we're living in a euphoria right now. Our economy is like the fastest growing economy in the G7. We've never had it so good. Look at the food lunch program. Look at, like, 22 million people got $1 a day tax cut. $1 a day. You can't even buy a McDonald's coffee for $1 in Canada. $1 is the new penny. And we can't even travel. You read the newspapers like, 20% down in travel in Canada to the United States. No, it's not because we're boycotting the US. It's because we can't afford to travel to the US. 20% of Canadians are like, we're tapping out. We can't even afford to feed ourselves food, let alone travel to the United States. But they're patting themselves on the back saying, yeah, elbows up. We're sticking it to them. No, we're sticking it to ourselves.
I have to put these stats up on the screen as you're
go
saying
for it.
this stuff.
So I'm going.
No, keep going, because this is absolutely it. You know, the M1 or M2 money supply is well above every other country. You see everyone else down here, and Canada is way up above everybody. It's just unbelievable.
Wait a second. For people that don't understand the money supply, so if you're not creating more stuff, like more gas, more widgets, more stuff, and you're just creating more money, what do you think happens? That's why we have $1 million homes. Nobody could afford a home if you're under the age of 40 and you're coming into the market going, how am I going to put down $250,000 coming out of university? It's inflated the price of everything. You try to get 4 pieces of steak for $100. It's because they continue to print money. Why would they print all this money? And there's a reason. Because they've taxed us at 50% or 55% because they can't take any more money from us, because then we can't afford to pay for anything. So what do? They just said, you know what? We still need all that tax dollars. So the worst tax, right, as your shirt says, inflation is theft, because they don't need approval from anybody to print more money. They just print it. And then
they just print it. And every dollar, it's like somebody coming into your bank account and shaving a little bit of value off every dollar every time they print a new one. So they print that much. Like, and you think about it, like compared to the United States economy, which is a huge economy, they're printing and that's inflating their currency. They have people that are, complaining about it there too. Wow, the cost of living is going up because, when you measure the inflation, which is the actual money supply going up, people can't afford to buy things, and it's crazy. And then you see what's happening in Canada. There's an absolute correlation there. It's not that you can't afford things so much, it's you've been robbed, and what they've left behind for you is not very much, and you can't really afford to live on what's left, the scraps.
Yeah, how long are we going to just sit here and allow this to happen to us? Because think about this. Growing up, and I'm sure you're in a similar position, as a Canadian growing up in Canada, most families, including mine, had just one income earner. We were able to travel every single year. We'd go to Mexico at least once a year. We'd travel all the time. We had vacation properties. I had the fortune, I was able to go to a private school in high school for some time as well. Like, we had everything that you could dream of, a detached house, 4 kids. Now we have more technology. Like, think about all the technology. It's like we create 4 times more food than we did before because of the technology. We have like all the technology you could think of, like dishwasher, more free time, yet we've never been more broke. So who is taking all of this money?
Your own government.
You could only look at one group, the people in charge. The people in charge have created the conditions where we can't afford anything. And guess what? What the worst part is in Canada, we're lucky in Canada because we have the most amount of fresh water. We have the 3rd largest oil reserve on planet Earth. We have everything the world wants. We have, like, our landmass is the 2nd largest landmass. We could literally just get the government to move out of the way and we could all be rich. Lamborghinis for everybody. But nope. Instead, we get Bill C9 and we can't complain about it because they're going to be knocking on your door anytime now.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. And they've screwed it up so bad. They've screwed it up so bad to the point where now they need to bring in temporary foreign workers because apparently they can't get anybody to work at the Tim Hortons and whatnot.
Those people don't. No, it's because those people, they don't complain about a lower standard of living. So what I just described as my childhood, saying, you know what, in Canada, you could be a garbage man and own a detached house and have a bunch of kids. Yeah. That was the Canadian dream. That was my dream. So if they
Be
bring
a
in
garbage man?
people, no, I'm just saying my dream was that you could do anything in life and actually succeed. Like it
Yes,
doesn't matter what
absolutely.
you do. You could be even a pump attendant at the gas station and still be able to afford a detached house and be able to afford steak every night if you wanted it. Now you're doing, if you're working at a gas station, you need 3 of those jobs and you have a 2x2 apartment and you're not eating no steak. Steak is off the menu for sure. You might be eating, sometimes you might be eating whatever, foraging forests. Like we're getting pretty bad here in Canada. One thing is, before we move on from Bill C9, I have a clip in the house I want to show everybody. Okay, so don't worry, Canada. I have good news for you. They're not going to be coming to your house to arrest you for something you posted online. Why would I say this? Well,
Why would you say something like that?
Because check this out. It's all about liberal incompetence.
The Liberals promised 1,000 new police officers in their last election campaign. Now talk about a broken promise, because just today we learned that not only have they not hired those 1,000 officers, they are down 3,400 police officers. That means we are down over 4,000 police officers from what they told us we would have in the last election. Wow. At a time when crime is skyrocketing, how can Canadians feel safe when these Liberals can't even hire police officers?
Minister of Public Safety.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me be very clear. As part of the platform last year, we committed to hiring 1,000 new CBSA as well as 1,000 new RCMP personnel. We've already started on that process, Mr. Speaker. We had the first cohort of CBSA officers that graduated from Rigaud, to which the member opposite was in fact invited to the graduation. We will be rolling out the first cohort of RCMP personnel over the next coming weeks, Mr. Speaker, as the new fiscal year begins.
Yeah, so the reason I want to, okay, let's keep going. Let's finish this.
Mr. Speaker, he talks about the new cohort that's being hired. Is that part of the 1,000 that were promised, or the 3,400 that we lost, Mr. Speaker? The Liberals can't distinguish between the two. Let's look at the stats. Violent crime up 55%, failure. Sexual assault up 76%, failure. Gun crime up 130%, failure. Extortion up 330%, failure. Mr. Speaker, the only thing that's going down are the number of police officers in Canada. Why can't these Liberals get their acts together and hire the police they promised?
That's the thing. And now Gary goes back and he's like, yeah, I know we promised 1,000, but you got to train them. The thing is, we're losing more police officers than we're training and we're literally losing police officers, 3,400. And so he says, well, we're going to have a couple hundred come online in the next next month or something, but we're losing at a pace that is far exceeding what we're training. So
yeah, much faster than we're able to reproduce. Yeah, that's crazy.
So the police force, get this, the RCMP is going to get, hey, you got to go over to Mark's house and check in on him because he posted something yesterday that we didn't like. And then they're going to look at it, it's like, who are you talking to? There's no police officers here. They're all gone. And the one that's there is like, I'm not going to go over and knock on his door. We're dealing with like somebody was just shot. We're going to the scene, like it's not, they're going to be so thin. They're not going to be able to do anything. Look, they could barely stop any of the stuff that's happening in this country.
Well, one thing that would help free up the officers that are actually already on the beat would be to keep people who had committed crimes in jail. Some of these people, like in Vancouver, for example, last year, thousands and thousands of crimes committed by 40 people. 40 people. They go commit a crime. Today. They get out. They go to detention. They get released and they're out committing another crime and then getting picked up again the same day and getting released the next morning. It's like if they're hungry, they go commit a crime. Police pick them up, take them for a meal and a warm bath, and then put them back out on the streets so they can go commit more crimes. It's crazy.
Today, there was an opportunity to repeal all of that. They had Bill C-246, which was, one of them was for victimizing families through endless parole hearings, keeping leniency for non-citizens convicted of serious crime, and do their catch and release bail for violent offenders. Tonight, they voted this thing down. So basically, they could have repealed the catch and release today, which would have solved a lot of problems. And if you are not like you're not a Canadian citizen, when you go to another person's, like whenever I travel to another country, I'm in my best behavior. I'm always under my best behavior. But if I'm at somebody else's country, I'm actually trying to be even better. Like I'll clean up. I'll do different things to I'm a visitor. I'm a visitor. I'm going to be extra nice. Well, what happens is these people, not everybody, there's some great people, but there are some people that they don't follow any of the rules. They should be deported immediately. Yeah. You're a visitor here and you broke into somebody's house, you're gone. But no, what they do is they arrest them, and now the judge is lenient for them because they don't want them to get deported. So we're not going to charge this person.
There's no one to enforce deportations anyway. So
no, they're deporting people right now. They're deporting. It's not very large. I believe it's a few hundred per month.
What are they? They're just issuing deportation notices, but they're not actually.
There's flights and they're leaving 200 people a month, or 200. And
what's the mechanism for actually bringing those people to the flight? Like, are they going to their home and picking them up and saying, get out of here?
Yeah.
Get on a plane.
People. Yeah.
Wow.
But it's not.
I just saw a report that, what was it? There was like 540,000 student visas that expired, and only something like 49,000 people left out of like 540. It was an astronomical amount of people. Like 500,000 people just overstayed their visas and didn't leave, and that's it. And there was no mechanism to go, oh hey, yeah, last known address, hey, is I don't know, this guy here, yeah, it's time to go, you're going to the airport right now. That it's not happening.
Well, there's a lot of people that are leaving on their own. I mean, when they notice that they're, if you don't have opportunity, you're not able to do anything. There's some good people. Like the people there overall, there's some really good people out there. They don't want to commit crimes and all this stuff, but there's some really bad people. Those people need to be, they need to go. Like if you're going to come here to commit crimes and cause chaos on our streets, I mean, as a Canadian citizen, it's the job of our government to keep us safe. It's their job. That's their job, not keep these people that they brought in that's committing all these crimes safe. It's their job to keep us safe. This whole thing is backwards. It's a clown world over there on the liberal side. They're completely backwards. And the people that are clapping for all of this, I don't understand. Maybe they're consuming too much CBC, but the thing with the CBC is we found out the stats. I don't know if you have those statistics, but it's like under 1% of the population is now watching CBC, and they're receiving $1.55 billion. So, and I posted on my social media this morning, I said, you know what? We have a liberal government giving CBC $1.55 million to attack the conservatives nonstop, creating, all of these people that are, it's creating zombies and all these people. A lot of the problem, and then right there. Look at
these numbers. It's crazy. Toronto population 6.2 million people. CBC watchers of that 6.2 million is 49,000 people. That's a 0.75% That's crazy. Calgary is 0.25% of the people there. 1.5 million people, and 4,000 people watch this stuff. But we're paying for this to the tune of $1.4 billion a year for the CBC alone, right? That's the CBC alone, let alone like the subsidized other media, global, CTV, the whole lot. The government's virtually paying for basically all of that stuff. And you wonder why they only ever praise the liberals ever. I mean, it's just, it's embarrassing.
You know what's embarrassing is two people like you and I could sit down and have a discussion about news, and it's real news by real people, and we get like, I don't know how many times more viewers and great people, and they are so pathetic. Isn't that just, and with all that money backing them? I mean,
dude, if we had a budget of $1.4 billion.
If we just had a couple $100,000 budget so we could have some people that are doing some of the back office or editing, we would be like, our shows would be insane.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, just so people know, all the stuff that you see I'm doing all that stuff. Like, I'm busy. It takes a lot of time to put together all of the clips, to put together the story, to do the whole YouTube experience. A 20-minute segment that you post, at least for me, maybe I'm not that good, but I'm still getting better. It's like 4 to 6 hours to do a 20-minute show. It's not like you just start recording. At least maybe some people that are really good, they could do it in under 3 hours, or it takes them 3 hours, like the very, very good YouTubers. But overall, it just takes hours to put something together. So
it's
if you
a lot of compiling a lot of different stuff, right? You're on there watching like 4 screens.
I know, I'm watching all the 4 screens. I'm watching all the stuff. Like, I have the House of Commons going. I have some other stuff like in the background, and I'm clipping stuff. Like, that's a skill in itself. I'm pretty good, actually. I don't know many people that could play 4 videos and be able to capture some of the stuff that's said, but it's a skill that I've been able to do. And I kind of like listening to more than one, because it feels like I'm not, when you just listen to one, you kind of like, somebody said in the comment section, I saw, they're just like, I don't know what they're saying, and they're speaking English, but they have no idea what they're saying in the House of Commons. So boring,
It is boring. And to not bore everybody else about what's just going on in Canada, do have to talk about a bit of like what's happening in the US. And have you been covering anything on the Iran situation, anything that's going on there?
Yeah, not on my YouTube channel. YouTube's not too favorable when you talk about war-specific stuff, because, they look at mainstream media and they're like, hey, this is a certified channel, because they want to limit any kind of conspirator stuff or,
Okay, so I'm not going to get into any of that, really. What I want to get into is the effects of the economy and what's going on with that.
Yep. Yep.
So there was everybody calls him Mr. Wonderful. Kevin O'Leary had some things to say about this whole situation, because a lot of people are in panic mode. And I think for political reasons too, right? They want to create a bunch of panic to get Donald Trump, like everybody, don't vote for him, don't vote for the Republicans in the midterms. And that's a big thing. And, it trickles down, and you have this big whole effect in Canada over the whole thing. But this is what Kevin O'Leary had to say, because he's just like, give me a break, folks. Forget it. It's not what you're saying it is. In fact, I'll just let him speak for himself, because it really sums it up. Here's what he had to say.
And the long view here could be just 60 days. Remember, to affect the U.S. economy, you need oil. I'm talking about recession talk, or hurting the economy, or damaging small business. You need oil at above $93 for 3 months. We're only 1/3 into it. So everybody chillax and let this thing play out. There's a really big opportunity here, a huge one. And everybody gets the upside, including all our trading partners. We work this out. We're selling stuff to Saudi Arabia. We're selling it to the UAE. We're selling it to Asia. We're selling it to Japan. This is a huge opportunity. I just see it for what it is. It's history being made.
All right, Kevin, appreciate you being here. There's a lot to watch there.
All right, Kevin, appreciate it.
I don't know about Kevin's analysis there. He's trying to pump up the U.S. audience, saying, hey, we got this. Like, it's, the thing is if you actually, just today I saw there's many countries that are running out of fuel, and some are like 3 weeks away from complete devastation. Like in Thailand, all week you have to walk to work. I don't know if you saw a video of like thousands of people walking on the street trying to get to work. They're not allowed to drive to work because they're running out of fuel. There's Australia's like, there's lots of blackouts for gas and diesel, and Japan, like a lot of countries are running out of fuel, and they say within 3 weeks they're going to be out.
I don't see this lasting that long. That's the whole thing. So a lot of, like this is pumping up the whole like this is going to be a forever thing. I don't see that happening. And I see something settling in a very short order, actually. And it's funny because I have to show this clip because this is Donald Trump talking about the negotiations. Because I don't know if you heard, but like Trump said that he was negotiating with them, and then propagandist television from Al Jazeera or whatever said there's no such negotiation. Then the Democrats all ran with that, and then it's like, well, is there negotiations or is there not? Who are they talking to? Trump had this to say today, and this one actually really cracked me up. So have a listen to this.
Seen anything like we're doing in the Middle East with Iran? And they are negotiating, by the way, and they want to make a deal so badly, but they're afraid to say it because they figure they'll be killed by their own people. They're also afraid they'll be killed by us. There's never been a head of a country that wanted that job less than being the head of Iran. I don't want it. We listen to some of the things they say. We hear them very clearly. They say, I don't want it. We'd like to make you the next supreme leader. No, thank you. I don't want it. But I want to express my gratitude to the tremendous.
So that's what he had to say. I don't want it. A lot of people coming up to the helm of it. It looks like there's not much going on at that point. And we heard that there was a big gift that was given to the United States from Iran, from the leadership in Iran. And we don't know what that gift was, but apparently it was worth a lot of money. It's probably some giant oil tanker full of fuel, and this is going to go to the market, right? But this is similar to like the Venezuela situation where everybody was, the oil is going to hit $300 a barrel or $200 a barrel. Kramer famously saying that, and it didn't. And then we have this situation now where it's largely, I think the oil is going to end up back online. I don't know. This is something to get over. This isn't something that's going to be like immediately boom, boom, everything's pumping again because some things got destroyed. But I think it's not going to be this long lasting thing that everyone's saying. I think that's kind of what Kevin O'Leary was getting at there. But of course, the Democrats want to win the midterms. So there's a lot invested in making sure that people hurt rather than or feel like insecure than actually seeing an end to this whole conflict. What do you think?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think Donald Trump already has everything kind of sorted. But he went to they have a plan. They're not sharing the plan with us. There's going to be an end to this thing. And the way that they're going to do it is Donald Trump has to get the win. Iran's also going to get a win. There's going to be winning everywhere. And then Russia and China are both going to be like, wow, like put in their place. Just like Venezuela, people were like, wow, they have this technology of this sound thing that demobilized everybody. So, once
the discombobulator, I heard about that.
Yeah. So like as long as there's a win for Trump and then there's a win for Iran, for the people of Iran, things get settled. And then the world's like, wow, Trump is so amazing. And then Russia and China get put in their place saying, wow, we don't want to mess Trump went in, he did like Venezuela, he did Iran. And, Trump's just looking for wins. And if he gets this win before the midterms, that's what he's looking for. Right. So I can't see this thing dragging on. He wants to win in the midterms. And this would get him, if he could settle this and things are rocking by then, that's what he's looking for. Right.
That's what I think the timing's all about. And I think the Venezuela timing was so that he could pull this one off. If it wasn't
there's always a risk though. Like, I mean, there's a risk. We're going to be paying attention to what's happening. I mean, nobody could tell the future, but if he wants to win these midterms, he's going to have to put this thing to end. Right. So.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. So, well, this pulls up the first hour of the show. So if everyone's watching this after the fact, you're going to have to catch this live if you want to see the Q&A section of the show. So before we get into that, stick around, by the way. Mark, where can people find you so people can go see your show?
Absolutely. So you can follow me on YouTube. It's Mark Nixon Official. You'll see me pop up. Head over to my Twitter X because I do live updates all day. I'm always on there no matter what. even if I'm on vacation, I get in trouble because my wife's like, "You're on vacation." I'm like, never on vacation when it comes to X to get the news out. And on my X account, it's Mark Nixon 24. You can find me on TikTok if you're over there. It's Mark Nixon, and Instagram and Facebook as well. Just Mark Nixon. You'll find me.
Yeah, the links are all in the description down below. So make sure you tune in, and we'll see you. Well, we'll see you in a second here. For everybody who's live, that's great. Awesome. Thanks for tuning in live, because this is the fun part. We get to address a bunch of your chats, and we'll try to address from all the different chats, because there's people on all the different platforms, which is really awesome. Facebook, we just added to the list of platforms. So if you're watching on Facebook, big shout out to you guys on Facebook. And for everybody else on all the other platforms, YouTube, Rumble, we've got X. Awesome. Great to have more eyeballs over here and paying attention to the stuff that's going on. Let's get into some of these chats that came in when we first started going. Here we've got James for $2 says, "I will never comply with this evil government." And that's, I think it's largely focused on what we were talking about at first, and that's the gun grab. Yeah. I mean, why comply? Is there really a reason to comply? I mean, I'm not giving legal advice here, but at the same time,
everybody does what they think's right for their family. I'm not going to encourage anybody to break the law, but I'm also not a firearms owner. So, but if I had one, I'd have to think about this whole thing. What they're doing is so wrong.
Yeah. I know I'm going to be a big time firearms owner as soon as I as soon as I'm down in Texas.
Yeah. I'm going to come visit you and hopefully I can get some training from you.
Oh, hell yeah. You want to go shooting? Mark, before I leave, we should go shooting together.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, there's that place in Coquitlam. We can just go there and we go shoot. You just need your driver's license. You don't have to have your gun
I've
license.
been telling my friends I'm going to get my license for so many years now, and they have like all the material they'd teach me, and they're like, yeah, you get it right away. So yeah, I still have to do that.
No, you only need your driver's license to go to this place.
No, but I'm saying I'm also like, to get my license and stuff. I mean, eventually I'd like to do it because I have friends that go hunting, and I want to have my own stuff. Like, I don't want to, I want to have my own stuff when I go on, it'd be fun.
I'll tell you what, like I'm pro 2A. I'm very pro 2A, but I still think that people should go take a course on safety, because safety is paramount, right? And the only reason why not the only reason why people get injured, but a huge factor in people's injuries is when they're just not handling firearms safely. And, I think I just read about it in the news. There was a guy in Vancouver or Surrey or something like that who discharged a firearm and injured himself. Thankfully didn't get killed, but he just didn't. We don't know the circumstances, but my assumption is he probably cleaning his firearm and he didn't do all the safety protocol. He didn't check that it was unloaded when he went to handle it and discharged it, and it hit him. And that's just terrifying. So yeah, the sooner you get that kind of, or you have the ability to get that kind of training, go do it. Like, absolutely go do it. I'm not a reckless kind of person. So like anytime I'm around power tools, or if I have people that I like or people I know that come around and they want to use power tools, because I'm a mechanic, right? I'm not just going to hand people tools and just assume that they know how to use it.
By the way, the most dangerous people are the ones that immediately say, yeah, I know exactly how to do everything.
Yeah. Don't tell me.
That's like right away. I'm like, wait a second. It's the people that are more cautious saying, yeah, can you give me a quick review? Usually I'm like, oh, this person's more safe, right? It's the reckless
give me the
people are
rundown.
like, just give me this thing. I don't need a review. It's like, oh God.
Exactly. And when you go to the gun range to shoot, as someone who hasn't gone through a safety course, they give you a safety rundown right at the range before you even walk in. So they show you the firearms, they show you how to check to make sure it's safe, talk about, the 4 rules of safety, making sure that it's always point it in a safe direction. Make sure your finger's always off the trigger. Never point it at something that you don't intend to destroy or kill. Like these are the rules, and never engage, never even put your finger on the trigger until you're ready to fire. Always assume that your firearms are loaded, even if somebody else checked it. Don't assume that they checked it correctly. Always check it for yourself. These are the important things. So absolutely, big focus on that. But yeah, come to Texas. I'll take you shooting. It'll be a lot of fun. Get to the next one here. Revisades for 5 says, looking at Natalie's eyes, they're still telling she's absolutely crazy. A pew is just a tool and can do nothing without a person behind it. It's absolutely correct. But there's people with malicious intent, and then there's people with just negligence, and that's bad too. So we should always make sure that people.
But what's scary is more times than not, it's the criminals that are out there with a weapon, and you're sitting there with nothing. Like that's a scary thought, because in Canada, all the crimes are done with the illegal firearms. So they're not really cleaning anything up by doing this.
I knew that comment was going to come, except the P320, of course. Yeah, so the SIG P320 is famous for discharging on its own. That's been in the news for a little bit. I think they discontinued that firearm altogether. So yeah, stay away from the SIG P320 if that's the case. But yeah, no, it needs to have someone behind it. Absolutely. Where I lost my place. Where was I? Yeah, so the Natalie's one. We got Utaka Too Much for 5 says that Polly lady loses my sympathy when she politicizes the suffering of her and her classmates. If they seize Pez machines, what's next? Cars, books? he's just calling guns Pez machines. Yeah, what's next? Cars and books? Anything that might hurt somebody. They say what is it? Speech is violence now. That's the new thing.
Well, that's the Bill C9. So the
You're
person
gonna confiscate people's books and things like that because based on that.
So the thing with Bill C9, the guy that's my MP, he's Burnaby Central. He replaced Jagmeet Singh. It's Wade Chang. The guy.
What party is he with?
He's liberal.
Oh, okay.
He didn't win by much. He only won by like 2,000 votes. And it's a big riding in my riding. Anyway, So what happened is he said the only reason that he wanted to be and serve in the government was to push forwards with Bill C9. He said in committee. And listen to this. They said, please describe why it's so important to you, Wade. And he said that he's a LGBTQ +2 MP.
Right.
Yeah. So, which is fine. Like people could be like, I have no problem with these people. But the one problem is that he went and he was making out with his boyfriend up in Metrotown on the platform. And somebody yelled, like, dude, go take that down to Davie Street. I don't want to see that, but the thing is that even if like a boy
just
and girl
take that home, like, yeah, just man and a woman,
a girl and boy, like, or a man and woman, or like you're it's just like, hey, like, I mean, we're all part of the, anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter that somebody said that. If somebody says that, then it's like somebody else could come in and say, hey, leave those guys alone. Like, it's called free speech. We live in a free society. But he said that he was so offended by somebody telling him to take it down to Davie Street. He felt inclined to become an MP for the Liberals so he could push forwards for Bill C9 so that he could jail you for telling him to go to Davie Street. How absurd is that?
It's really absurd to say.
It's actually
I'm gonna become a politician because I'd like to have dictatorial rule over people, and if they say something that offends me, I can throw them in a cage.
Yeah, I don't want to go there, but he's not. He came here, right? I mean, and he's bringing these rules. Like, yeah, the government needs to come down on free speech and expression. Saying something to somebody else is not an injury, like a physical injury. It can't be treated the same as that.
No. I mean, it's butt hurt and there's treatment for that. List off all the treatments for butt hurt. But yeah, so I have a hard time with this one because I come from, you know, a world where people are not sensitive, right? I'm a mechanic, I'm a tradesman. We say all kinds of nasty things to each other all day long in fun and jest.
And it should be fine. It's fine.
It is fine. It is fine. And it's this, this is the dynamic in my environment is the second you get butthurt about something, that becomes the new like forever joke against you. So you can't let things get under your skin, right?
But it's healthy, right? So that when you're out in public, words shouldn't create this environment that you're unhealthy. You need to go seek help. Okay.
Yes.
Words should not like, you know, one of the things like people ask me, they're like, man, you're with all these people and you have negative comments and the left, they start, you know, doing things onto your account and stuff. Like, how do you deal with that? I said, I'm not affected by any of it, to be honest with you. So one thing I could teach people that, you know, they don't like negative comments, it affects them. So the next time there's a comment that affects, like you feel it, this comment's upset you. I want you to repeat in your mind. You say, would I let this person in my bedroom? And if the answer is no, like this person that has left the comment, if they're invited into your bedroom to check it out and just be in your room, if you don't let that person into your bedroom, why would you allow them into your mind? Like, this is a sacred place in the mind. So if they're not allowed in your bedroom or even your house for that matter, they're not allowed in your mind. So next time you get upset about somebody saying something to you or a post of something, say, does this person, would I allow them into my bedroom? And it's an immediate no. You will never feel anything ever again. Just do that on repeat. And that's how I do it. I'm like, yeah, this person's not in my room. They're not coming into my mind.
Fair enough. Fair enough. No, that's a great way to look at it. I just look at it like, oh, if I let people under my skin, then they'll always go at me with that one thing. So like, you just got to let everything roll off the duck's back. You know what I mean? Like the old expression is water off a duck's back, right?
Yeah.
You sprinkle water on a duck. See you later.
One of the things to really like become a really good person is you have to be extremely good at forgiving yourself about everything you've done in life. So if you said something that was, you know, mediocre or whatever, forgive yourself. Actually, forgive yourself to the point where it's almost laughter. Like, it's just funny. And if you could do that, you'll treat people really well. You'll treat people with respect, because if you could treat yourself with respect and forgive yourself, it's gonna resonate. And it's gonna be hard to hate and make fun of somebody or do something or say something to somebody that's just a good person to be around.
Oh, fair enough. I have to make fun of the guys at my work, though. It's what we do.
No, I'm one of those sarcastic guys. I create jokes all the time. I'm joking around all the time. It's part. I think it's healthy.
Absolutely. We got Wickenden for 10. Thank you so much. Says, what anyone owns in their safes is nobody's business. They wouldn't even know that they had them without intruding on their privacy. Last I checked, the government are our employees. They've forgotten their place. Yeah, they're here to serve us, not the other way around. But that's not how they treat us. It's crazy. Just the way things go in Ottawa. Actually, that's one of the things that Pierre Poilievre kind of talked about on Joe Rogan that resonated with me. I thought that was great.
No, he did a really good job on Joe Rogan. You know what? For him to go for 2.5 hours, no script, to Joe Rogan, the #1 podcaster in the world, and he had no idea what they're going to talk about. He held himself very much like prime minister material in my view. And he didn't even bash Mark Carney. Mark Carney goes to the US and bashes Pierre all the time. And then Pierre is like, no, I wouldn't bash my prime minister. Like these are qualities that we need in Canada. We have terrible leadership in Canada.
Yeah, I just wish he did it when it mattered.
Yeah, I know. Hey, you know what? I tried last year when it was election. I was messaging him like, just forget the tour, go down to Georgia, because then he's going to listen to this. The Conservatives lost by 2.45% of the vote. 2.45. It's so razor thin. If he did something like, if he did his same, but he has to do the same performance. Like he did phenomenal. Maybe between then and now, he's really grown up, and you know, like he's really come a long way since a year ago, in my view. Like he's getting better. It just
he's ditched the slogans. That's the thing I noticed. If he went out on Joe Rogan and he started pitching slogans, Rogan would have tore him to shreds.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the breakfast, the Christian breakfast. I watched it.
No, what was
he
this?
did a Christian breakfast yesterday. Mark Carney was finally back from his Italy. He went as well, and then Mark Carney did his speech, and Mark Carney was like, put you to sleep. Like I was drinking slamming coffees trying to stay awake for his speech. And then when it went to Pierre, it was so refreshing. He did some jokes, and he did a verse of the Bible, and he was really relatable and somebody that you could really like. I'm like, man, this is he did such a good job. And yeah, it's just a different person. It's great.
Well, I like to see that.
Yeah, it's really sad that Canada doesn't have him currently as prime minister. We would be in a different place. I know for sure. Like he said, when I spoke to him, he said that he would already have started the Northern Gateway pipeline. Like our country would be building, like build, baby, build. We're a year of this liberal government, and they have yet to approve anything. And the first thing the Conservatives did was give them extraordinary powers with Bill C-5, which they didn't want to do, but they're like, you know what? We're going to suck it up, allow you guys to actually deliver and build something in this country. And all they've been able to do is open the office and hire somebody making $650,000, and they have yet to approve anything. It's been a year. At this pace, think about this. At this pace, if we have the election in 3 years from now, because that's in Canada, we'll probably have an election within 3 years.
I doubt
if it's 3 years from now, maybe they're just saving everything up for year, like right before the election. Then they approve everything so that they could get reelected again. Imagine that. I
could see that.
It's a total liberal plan. Let's build everything up so that we do nothing. And then like when we launch this election, we just approve everything and say, look how freaking good we are. We just approved everything.
I don't think people are going to last, man. Like people are not going to. So here's the thing. People are leaving. Like I'm not the only one leaving. People are not happy with this country. They're unhappy. It was the happiness index that just came out. It's
40% of the richest people of the country, the top 1%, 40% have already left for the United States. Catastrophic. 40% of the top 1% in Canada has left for the United States. That statistic came out to this week. And the Liberals in the House of Commons, like, I don't know if anybody saw the House of Commons. I watched the House of Commons. I posted about it. The Conservatives were bringing the data and the stats. The Liberals, it was so pathetic what they did today, the Liberals. It was bad. Like I hope
they keep calling themselves they keep calling themselves leaders, right? And I hate that about politicians. Politicians are not leaders. They're supposed to be representatives. That's it. They're supposed to represent their constituents. But
hey, Clyde, there's a channel that I really like, and he's in the audience. He actually gave you a $10 super. The Real Society Unveiled.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
let's bring his page up so we can show him off.
He's good stuff. So his mission is to take down the left, and he's commented already because he's like, shoot, they approved Bill C-9. Don't worry, my account's probably in trouble as well, not just yours.
Well, I can't wait to get my channel on the other side of the border so the Canadian government can't touch it. That's my thing. Society Unveiled?
Yeah.
Real Society Unveiled. Oh, okay. Well, I'm subscribed to the channel now, and I'm going to pop this up so everybody can see.
He's got a great channel. If you guys like sharp commentary, he has it's really well done. He does a great job.
Wow.
Especially if you are if you don't like the left, then you're gonna have a kick out of his stuff. So he does a good job.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the chat. Thanks for joining us tonight. And big shout out to Society Unveiled. Everybody go over there and make sure you're subscribed. That's awesome. That's awesome. Where were we? I was talking about, so politicians are they're supposed to be your representatives. The real leaders in society are individuals that create businesses, the ones that create entities. Those are the ones that a lot of people end up working for through their businesses. Those are the leaders. That's the leadership of the country. That it should never be viewed that the politicians are the leaders. It's always entrepreneurs and people in society, because the reality of the situation is in a market economy, you can choose not to patronize those people if they're not good. And if they're terrible leaders, and if they're terrible at their job, they'll end up losing their business, because businesses they're not successful once bad people are at the helm of it. It's famous. You see all kinds of businesses that are doing great, and then, the person who led that business for however many years leaves, sells the company, or dies, and then the business goes to crap. It happens. It happens all the time. But that's just the gist of it. And we've seen, the old adage is rags to riches to rags, in generations. That could be the case. It's not hereditary, and it's not nepotistic like our government seems to be, as we see. We had 2 Trudeaus over a series of decades, and that's terrible. So yeah, I wish people would just stop talking about government as leadership and go back to viewing them as representatives, because as soon as we see them as representatives, then they actually have to listen to us. That's the main deal.
My view is the government should be of last resort. We don't need the government for anything. They're the last resort. Point. They should be figuring out stuff for, our military, our trade with other countries, but domestically, they need to get out of the way. Like, we know what to do. We know how to do different things. We have some of the smartest people on earth. We have everything the world wants, but yet we're not all poor, but it's not the Canada we used to live in. I mean, when you go to a restaurant like McDonald's and it's $20 for one meal, not that I'm encouraging people to go there, but I'm just saying that's just absurd.
It's like the little way I added that one in. Yeah, maybe you don't eat McDonald's, but I'm not saying you don't.
I'm just saying the price. Like you before, McDonald's was for like a quick fix for the poor. You just go in and it's like, I got a quick burger. Now, if you're gonna buy a homeless man at McDonald's, you're like, holy shit, man, that's gonna cost me way too much.
Yeah, yeah, no kidding. I mean, the Burger King, or no, not Burger King, but the McDonald's Big Mac index, that was like the one that a lot of people use to measure real inflation, because the CPI is always, every government uses a different CPI, and then they skew the index for inflation measuring. So people use the Big Mac. And
Marty published on his account this week. That's probably why McDonald's in my mind. He published that index of what it was like 20 years ago and then today, and I was like, holy, it's just crazy.
Oh, it's insane. I remember in high school that my mom and dad on Fridays would give me a $5 bill. And that was enough for like a meal and at McDonald's, because all my high school friends would go to McDonald's, and then we'd go to the arcade with the change afterwards and play games.
No, actually for $5 when I was younger in high school, I used to get 10 cheeseburgers at McDonald's. 10. And I'd eat them all. At lunch break, they're like, and then I'd make like this pyramid on my desk with the 10 cheeseburgers. Teacher's like, what is that? I'm like, this is my lunch. Under $5.
Under $5. That's unreal. Yeah, you can't. 50. Wait, for $5, 50 cents a cheeseburger.
Yeah, I think it was. I think there were 39-cent cheeseburgers.
Whoa!
And then you get the double. The double cheeseburgers were 59 cents. Just the single cheeseburgers were 39 cents. And this was year 2000.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's amazing. Yeah, let's hopefully get back to that. Deflation's not a bad thing, folks. Don't listen to your banker.
Well, you know what?
Your central banker.
We don't. If our wages, like if everybody, not even wages, if you're a business owner, like I don't know if you have the statistic, but I think you showed it before, is that entrepreneurs is falling off a cliff. Like, it's so bad. The number of there you go. Self-employed as a shared percentage of employment. Look at that thing.
Of the population. Like it's holy crap.
These are the people
under
that are
6%, under 6% or under 6.5.
Yeah. So all these people that would be self-employed, they're trying to create ideas. They're like, entrepreneurs, and they're trying to figure out solutions for us. You lose these people. What do we got left? Government workers?
Yep.
Like, what's that going to do for us?
Yeah, because a lot of the self-employed people are people who are hiring others, right?
I guess they're gonna hire more CRA agents to go after us for $10.
That's exactly what they do. That every penny counts, especially when the Laffer curve is involved, and that's it. And then what's the result of this? The happiness index, right? Canadian happiness index dropped off a cliff. And it's funny because like they average it out, right? So 25 is the number that was given. I think it used to be number 5 or something like that. Not too long ago.
There's more commentary on this, Clyde. So the happiness that's gone from 5 or 6, and we've dropped all the way down to 25. So this is the Liberal rule. This is their track record, right? If you actually look at the under 40 or under 35,
it's way further down.
It's like, it's like 71.
Yeah.
Dude, it's like 71 place. That's how far so if you're a Canadian youth, you not only are you unhappy, but you're like, MAID is coming, it's bad.
Yeah. Like, I mean, what's the reality for most of these people? Like most people are viewing their chances of just a life in general. People say you're under 35 and you don't own a house, you probably never will. And that's just, people are just coming to grips with that.
So one thing's interesting. So that thing you just showed, it went parabolic. It went everywhere across the internet. And I was, I apologize. I was looking for, like, what are Liberal supporters talking about this thing? Like, what are they, they avoided like the plague. They're like, oh, they don't even leave a comment like that. They are looking at that and it's like nuclear waste to them, that chart thing. And so what they did as opposed is they cherry pick a bunch of things and try to publish other statistics or other stuff that is fake. Like, it's fake stuff that they're doing in there. Like, for example, Cult Montreal, like, that's paid for by the Liberal government, and they're in their name it says cult. And those group is like, they actually came out yesterday, and we could probably pull it up, and it said conservative voters are 80%. Like, they come out with misinformation. You should pull it up. 80% of conservative voters believe push in misinformation or believe in, I don't know what it is. You take a look, but that's what they're sharing all over the internet to cover up this catastrophic fall in happiness in Canada. Do you want me to pull it up for you, Clyde?
I'm looking for it right now. So
it's not going to be hard to. You'll find it right away. Just go Cult Montreal.
Oh, just Cult Montreal.
Yeah, Cult.
Cult Montreal.
Well, you'll be able to see. I published. So they said 80% of the most disinformed Canadians vote Conservative. The Disinformation Party of Canada continues to mislead Canadians with no consideration for national unity.
There it is.
Are you kidding me? This is what so when they look at the happiness thing, they started pumping this thing out everywhere on the internet, because I was like, what are they talking about? And so you see this thing, they quote this Cult Montreal channel. And then they also have, if you actually look I wonder if they blocked me. They probably did, but yeah, they have this data but the thing is, it's the data, they're like, look at this data, 80%, you know, they believe in misinformation and all that stuff, but they don't provide the questions that are asked. So for example, one of the questions could be, do you believe everything that the CBC tells you? And if you say no to that, you'd be potentially lumped into 80% of the conservatives believes in misinformation, right?
This is crazy.
Yeah, right there. That's what I'm telling you. Look, they're coming out with this stuff.
The more disinformation you believe, the more likely you are to vote conservative.
Yeah, look, and
yeah,
look,
but like, how about what you're calling disinformation just happens to be facts, and the more BS you believe, the more likely you are to vote liberal. I mean,
but this is what the liberals will grab this and shoot it across the internet whenever they see any factual data from the conservative side or anybody, they start coming out with these polls that are made up, and we don't have any of the questions. There's no questions on this. And then they pepper it across everywhere. And I guarantee you, I bet you CBC would be like, oh, did you hear 80% of disinformation and they vote they'd probably present this as facts.
I love that it's a cult. They're not even hiding.
You know, they were paid like hundreds of thousands of dollars from our government. And this actual group cheered on the death of Charlie Kirk. They actually said good, and they cheered it on. They said, yeah,
that's just disgusting.
Yeah. Whoever's behind this account is actually, it's terrifying. They're the worst of the worst, these people.
Yeah, that's just disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. What was it I heard on CBC radio when I was, because I work a day job, and I was driving home the other day, and I'm driving up the way. I've only got a short commute. It's like 5 minutes or whatever. And I turn on the CBC. They're talking about the fact that Canada has dropped on happiness, the happiness chart or whatever. And what is one of the ladies on the show? She says, it's because of people on the internet. People are going on the internet.
CBC said that.
CBC, look at this. So CBC says this. This says it's because people are reading stuff on the internet. If we just were able to ban people that spread information that's not true on the internet, then people would be less unhappy. We should just get people off the internet by banning people from it.
You know what the problem is? I think that
if they're just unaware of how bad it is, they're just going to forget it and be happy again.
It has nothing to do with the youth that have zero opportunity for anything in Canada. Has nothing to do with the fact that they're coming after law-abiding people's weapons. It has nothing to do that they tax us into infinity and beyond. And it has nothing to do with the House of Commons clown show where they tell us we've never had it so good. We have the fastest growing economy in the G7. Wages are far exceeding inflation. You guys take your 22 million middle class tax cut of $1 a day, take it and go and stop complaining. It's the internet that's the problem. Like, they are so wacko. I just want to call them wacko because they make me so frustrated on a daily basis. I'm like, are these people just like dumb, or are there's something going on? Like, they're trying to brainwash. They're able to brainwash a lot of people. And the people that are awake are the ones that are called disinformation and misinformation. If somebody says you're full of misinformation, I'm like, oh, I'm doing a good job. That means I'm awake.
Well, it's a tactic is what it is. They just want to keep winning politically. I think people on the left, they actually believe that if they keep going and keep going, that eventually socialism will work. Because there's no other explanation for it.
So what I don't understand is like, how bad do things need to get for us to that it just can't go any further? Like, how bad does it have to get? What's the breaking point? What's the breaking point? What's where like people just go, you know what? I lost everything. A lot of people are losing everything. The only people that are not losing everything, they're working for the government because they get their government employees. They're getting tons of raises. They're getting taken care of. The people that own a restaurant, like we were talking, I saw in the comment section, there's 4,000 small restaurants that are closing in Canada this year because they just can't make it.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane. I got to address this one comment because he's gotten to the point where he's all caps now. EB2 national interest waiver. Clyde, you have not talked about this visa since you mentioned it. Yes, I have. I've talked about it plenty. I've brought guests on the show to talk about it. Yes, I talk about it quite a bit. If I need to talk about it more later in the podcast, we'll talk about that. So I just before you all caps that 100 more times, I just wanted to get to that. But sorry, yeah, it's somehow you got to convince people that socialism isn't going to work. I don't know how like 100 million dead in the last century at the hands of their own governments is any better proof that socialism doesn't work. You know, we saw what happened with Mao's China. They didn't fail because they screwed up socialism. They were probably the ones to uphold socialism to the highest degree. And that's probably why so many people died as a result.
Yeah, but what's the benefit of social? I don't get it. I don't actually understand. Like, why can't people create more for other people? Like, if we're all creating more things, then we're all getting more.
Yeah, that's the reality of the market economy. Yeah.
For example, if somebody, like, if I have a friend, I see they have less, I'm like, oh, I got your lunch today. Let's do this. Like, I'm excited to be with the person. If we all have a little bit more, we're helping out our neighbor, we're doing stuff. But if we all have less every single year, we have less, and it's just eroding, everything's getting worse. Eventually, we're all just living in that dumpster, looking for those bone scraps. Like, it gets that bad. Yep. You know, it's not a life that it's not the Canadian dream. This is not the Canadian dream. We got to reject this whole thing.
Yeah, socialism doesn't build anything. It does. If anything, it tears things down. And the thing it first tears down is people's the motivation to do the things that they want to do. I mean, like personally, like do I work at an auto garage? Did I study all those years to learn auto mechanics so that I could like fix people's stuff for free? No, I want to earn a living. And if I can get really good at it, I'll be able to be better than the other mechanics and I'll earn a better living than the other mechanics. You know what I mean? That's the motivation. I want to be the most popular guy in town. Everybody wants to go to Clyde to get their car fixed. Yeah, that's a perfectly good thing. But if as an auto mechanic, I only can ever make the same amount of money as every other auto mechanic, what's the initiative for me to go out of my way to be a better mechanic than all the other mechanics and get the job done better? There's no competition.
No, and unfortunately in Canada, there's a lot of like our Canadian youth are really losing hope. And it's so discouraging because they're like, you know, they're not, we have very smart Canadian youth. They're looking at things and they know how to count. They're counting like, hey, how are we going to make this work? It's like, you're not going to make it work. No. It's just out of range. They showed, when I'm a data guy, I always look at the numbers. And when it showed the likelihood of somebody, a youth, owning a property, if their parents didn't own a property, it's very low. It's slim to none. If you literally need somebody that, like a parent, to own something so that they could help out so that it's basically what we've created in Canada is an upper class and then everybody else. It's very sad.
It is really sad. It is really sad. And your ability to be on the upper class is determined on whether or not you own property.
Yep.
So, and that's a dwindling set for everybody because, you know, only certain people, you know, some people were able to buy in while the market was decent and everybody else is hooped. Like, you're screwed. And, you know, and they want to take that away from the next generation. Most people in, you know, in that's parents or boomers or older, they're just sitting waiting because they're like, I can't get a property. So the only thing that they'll ever get is an inheritance, and the government wants to tax that away from them.
Well, they almost did 2/3. Remember that 60-something%. But the one thing is that they're selling us these manufactured homes as the new Canadian dream. How insulting is that? I know that there's good technology and you could slap things and they look decent and stuff, but I mean, Shouldn't that be like a start? Like, I don't even want to accept it. It's like, to me, when I think of, you know, they're trying to sell us the Canadian dream is these two by two shacks. In the great Canadian winter, we're going to get a 2x2 plywood shack, and they're going to sell that to us.
Yeah.
And where are we going to put this shack? Well, your parents probably have a backyard. You could just drop it there, right? Or put it in the front yard, that shack. Like, put them everywhere. That's where the shacks are going, right?
Well, it should be a point of shame, right? It should be a point of shame because these politicians who are representatives that want to call themselves leaders, under their tenure, on their watch, Canada went from this to this. It is a lowering standard of living, and they're trying to sell it to people as if it's like better for them. And that should be the most embarrassing thing on the world stage across the world, that, hey, everybody, look at Canada and what they're doing. They're trying to convince that their population that should live in a worse situation, and that they should be happy about it.
Yeah.
That's screwed up.
And you know what's even more screwed up is all these bills, Bill C9, Bill C8, Bill C2, all these bills is to cover up their failure. And that's just so sad, because they're pushing these things. So if somebody makes too much noise, they're going to delete you from the internet. If they don't like the memes you're creating, you're going to get, well, there might not be any RCMP officer available, but they're going to try to get somebody to come to your door. And Bill, to delete you from the internet. And then Bill C2 is the online surveillance and look at your mail and have zero privacy. So,
yeah, and they'll be able to look at your DMs, and they want to be able to crack into your Twitter.
But
so
that's, you know what the scariest part of Bill C2 is? It's scary that they could, you know, monitor everything, all your devices and all that. But the scariest part about Bill C2 is if any country, the US or any country around the world that are part of, you know, Canada's pack or whatever, they could request your C2 information. And the scary part is once they send your data, your phone, all your conversations, send all of the information across to the other country, it's gone forever. You can never get it back. And listen to this. And this is for the liberals out there, if there's any liberal watchers here, is let's say you cross the border and you've been bashing Trump this whole time. And then they send your data across because the US asked for it. They could ban you from going to the United States for life, inadmissible, and not tell you why. And you'll have no idea because the data is gone. And you won't even know. You're just gone. You can't cross the border because they found something in one of your devices that they didn't like, right? Just saying something or like that's where this thing's going. And that's why it's so terrifying. And also, how many times have you received an email or text message or whatever saying we lost all of your data. Now you have to do Equifax. We're sending you $60 to do 5 years review because we've taken all of yours. And this is like government or banking or whatever. They're like, yeah, the whole thing's been hacked. So imagine they're collecting all of this sensitive data on you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't trust them with any of that.
No.
What's the likelihood of that software or whatever they're doing getting hacked or getting stolen somehow?
Well, based on track record, very likely.
So, well, the one thing is, when I talked to John Carpe, by the way, John Carpe, great guy. He's a justice lawyer, and what he said is the real problem with this thing is all of your data is centralized. How it is right now is, yeah, you have data, but it's all broken into pieces. So it's not in one specific place.
Yes.
This thing will centralize all of it. So if it say they,
it's the ultimate place to hack for anything.
Yeah.
Because
before it's
why hack Google when they could hack the government? It'll be probably easier. And all the information's in one place. Well,
you'll have your, say your health, say somebody hacks into something, it's like your healthcare. So they just have your health data. But they don't have your credit score. They don't have all of this other stuff about you. But if you
Right.
have everything in one place, which is what the liberals want to do, then it everything in one place, which is what the liberals want to do, then it the risk, right?
Huge
something,
risk.
huge risk. And guess what? They're never accountable for anything. Never accountable. You never hear them apologize about anything. They never, change course. They usually just double down with the insanity. Yeah, it's a problem.
Wow, is that ever a problem? Let's get to some more of these chats. Revicades for 5 says, a fine that large that would lead me to wandering into the U.S. embassy and requesting asylum. I think that these people, is that there are people from the convoy who would have done this. Yeah, I said we're talking about the $750,000 fine for not believing in transgender children. It was based on his belief on whether he believed it or not.
So they won't go after you, like say myself or you or the person leaving a comment, unless you work for the school system. The reason that this gentleman got this is because he was the school trustee. He had a prominent position within the school board, and he had, hey, like I believe he's his religious, he's like, I believe that there's, we were born a man and woman, and he had a, part of the school system, and they said, yeah, that's the school system is the most woke in Canada, especially in BC. So they're like, came down with the iron fist on him.
It's crazy because you pointed out, like, it goes against his religious conviction. That's
absolutely, yeah.
It's
so
not
like,
crime.
But the thing is like, I'm sorry, but there's a man, there's a woman. I don't know what I only know of two genders.
Yeah, well, there's definitely two sexes, and that's
two sexes. There's a boy and there's a girl. I mean, everything else is I
don't like using the word gender because it's a confusion, because it's a grammatical construct and not a physical thing. And making up a bunch of genders doesn't make sense. There's 4 genders in the English language. There's masculine, feminine, indeterminate, and neuter. Those are like, indeterminate is like when you say dog, you don't know if it's a boy dog or a girl dog. And neuter means like it's like a table or a cell phone. It's like these aren't things that have sexes, so you don't describe them like that. There are only 2 sexes, and yeah, there's intersex and weird anomalies that are like somewhere in the middle, but they always lean towards one and not the other. Biologists will tell you that there's nothing more certain in the universe, that there's arrays and spectrums of all kinds of things. There's nothing more binary than the biological sexes. It's just one or the other. It's very much that.
No, and
that's the truth.
The people that decide that they're, whatever, like I as an adult, do you. And the best part about,
Sure.
somebody with common sense is we respect all people, but just don't put it on my kids. Leave the kids alone. You do you, I do me. I don't need to accept what you're doing. You do you. Do your thing. I will, do that, and then I do my thing, and we're all cool. Like, and I'm not gonna say anything mean or whatever. Like, yeah, do you. That's fine. Do whatever you do. Like, it's fine. But also leave me alone. Like, I want to be left alone. Everybody should leave everybody alone.
Yeah, as long as what you're doing doesn't impede on somebody else's rights to enjoy their own life, then you're fine. Go off and enjoy yourself. But this is why it became one of those things where it has to be, the washroom debate, where it's, a man being in a women's washroom is impeding on a woman's right to have her own space, right?
Yeah,
free from men. So it's like, there's.
Well, I think we're on the same page on this issue.
I totally agree. I totally agree. We got one more from Wickenden for $10. Says, remind me again why we have ministers holding office from the world's largest garbage dump, or from from places that hate us, all with their being and having moved forward socially for 2,000 years. Yeah, I don't know. What do you say to that? Ministers holding office from the world's largest which garbage dump are we talking about? I'm trying to figure out.
I think what it is like they're just bringing us backwards when we should be going forwards. You know, it feels like we're just going backwards. But you know what? I just want people to know out there, you know, there's a lot of good people out there. This is an opportunity for everybody to speak up. Speak up. You have to speak up. And I'm so happy that I'm speaking up and there's people like Clyde, and we could have these shows and we could have people in the audience. We're going to get the change that we deserve. We're going to get a better life. It can't continue down this road. I feel like people are waking up. I hope, you know, I know you're abandoning ship, but you know, you're going to form a community down in the United States as well. Yep. And who knows, maybe many of you and many people in the audience are going to go down there. Maybe eventually I'll end up going down there as well. Like,
the other part of that though is to bring this story to a larger audience, if I can possibly, right? So if I could build a channel in the United States and talk about Canadian issues, talk about what's happening in Canada, especially with me being in the Austin area, there are a lot of other podcasts I'll probably end up joining and talk about what's actually happening in Canada, because, you know, a lot of people don't get it. They don't see what's happening. And when, you know, they hear the story from other Canadians, and they might think, oh, that's being hyperbolic. It's probably somewhere in the middle. And it really isn't. It's really not hyperbolic. It's really that crazy. And I want to be down there, you know, shaking people by their shoulders and saying, it really is that crazy. Like, you got to know this. And when more eyeballs are on it, this is why, like, why do you think Pierre Poilievre should have gone on Joe Rogan? It's because it's the biggest dang podcast in the world. And the way to get Canadian eyeballs on it is to get that conversation happening there, because a lot of Canadians are paying attention there.
Yeah, he was very prime ministerial, so it'd be nice to get like some off the cuff, like people like you and I that we're just, you know, straight up and transparent. We don't have to worry about getting elected, you know.
Well, that's it. And so, like, I'm going to do my best to get on other podcasts and bring the message forward. So if people think that I'm bailing from Canada to just like, all right, see you later, I don't have to think about those problems anymore. No, it's like, it's top priority. I'm going to be talking about these things because I think the ticket to getting people in Canada to hear about it is to go outside of what the government is trying to manipulate and change. I'm going to get in the other sphere where people will hear about it. So that's my motives in the whole thing.
Hey, somebody in the comments said, hey, you're going to be in Rogan's territory. Wink, wink.
Yeah, I will be. And a bunch of other people that are really good podcasters. So definitely going to be checking that out. We got Wiccan Den for 5 says, when those who make the laws do not live by the laws, then there are no laws, just a fight for survival. Yeah. It becomes just survival of the fittest, like or arbitrary rule. People, unfortunately, it feels kind of like YouTube when they have like certain rules and you're allowed to say this, but other people are not allowed to say it, and that kind of thing. I've had to fight for this with YouTube on some of the things that I get the limited audience viewer indicator. I don't know if you've run into that on your channel.
Well, it just depends. You need to, I mean, you know, there's different things, but yeah, it's a PG platform. So Rumble would be, you could get away, probably say more, right? But PG, like,
yeah.
You know, that's why I really like when my work on X. I mean, there's no filter. I just go. It's wonderful.
That's great. Yeah, so, YouTube, you have to worry. You have to worry, and that's part of that self-censorship that you're talking about.
Oh, and it's going to get way worse. Hopefully it's not going to get worse on X. I like my style where I just, you know, I lay it down and I don't, you know, I just lay it down. Some people like it, some people don't, but there's no filter. It's just go. You know, you could see I had the oil refinery that was attacked, blown up a few days ago in the US, Texas. You wouldn't see that on my YouTube channel. But I'll publish all sorts of stuff that you just can't post on YouTube because it's, you know, things blowing up or like even protests. You can't show any protests on YouTube.
Yeah, that's what I found.
Just a picture. You can show a picture quickly, and it has to be smaller. You can't make it a big picture. You can't play any of the videos of anything like that, or even like you know, when you get into the rainbow stuff too. So actually in Texas, they were removing all the rainbow crosswalks. It was so refreshing to see. It's a no brainer. Like they went a little bit wild there. I don't know if you saw that. I published it on my
Oh, I
X
did see
account.
that. I did see that. I
They're
like that.
they're removing it all, and I'm like, oh, that's refreshing, you know. And it's I don't think I would be able to. I didn't cover it on my YouTube channel, even though I'm like, oh, I would love to, but yeah, I don't think so.
Right. You gotta stay away from it. Incidentally, they got rid of the one downtown in my town in BC.
Which one?
In Squamish, BC. So they got rid of the rainbow crosswalk, but then somebody put up a sign.
Know how much that cost to install?
Oh, stupid amounts of money. Stupid amounts of money.
No, like, do you know the estimate?
No.
Between 25,000 and 100 grand for one rainbow crosswalk spray painted. Like I could go down there
we're in
with
the
a
wrong
couple
business, Mark.
I could get 5 different color cans, do it across the thing for what? $30. You know, like it's crazy how much.
What was it Marty was talking about? He said one of those groups they went in, they were like, we don't want to use oil-based paint because whatever this or that reason, because the environment or whatever. So we want to find some alternative.
You have to use oil. So
well, they were trying to find an alternative.
No,
and Marty was like, it's you're spraying it on asphalt. It's made of oil, you dummies.
Yeah. You got it. Well, I guess, yeah. And imagine they're like, well, we could make it out of plastic. Then it's like, dude, plastic's made out of oil. Like everything we have is made out of oil. We can't go. You know what? I always laugh is when I see protests and everybody's got a bottle of water in their hand.
Oh, I love it.
You know, like, I'm like, and how did they get to the protest? I'm sure they drove to the protest, and it's usually like the protest was like green, like we need to get to net zero and blah, blah, blah. But they're drinking their water bottles out of the plastic bottles, and they drove there. And yeah, they're all hypocrites. They're all hypocrites. Yeah. And that's the thing.
Anyway, I was saying the crosswalk. So they got rid of the rainbow crosswalk. It turns out it was just because they're doing construction there, and they have a sign up saying, "Don't worry, the crosswalk's coming back."
No way. That's absurd. I'm surprised somebody didn't graffiti that sign that it's coming back, saying no, like just put no on it, or take a stop sign, put a stop on it. Just stop.
Just stop, please. Just stop.
Just stop. Yeah,
just unreal. All right, let's.
Yeah.
Let's get on to some of these other ones here. We've got Revasades for 2 says, but it's okay. Tim Hortons needs more TFWs. Yeah, that's right. Getting on the temporary foreign worker bandwagon. Mechanics for 10 says, temporary foreign worker police coming soon. I see it. I see it happening.
But that's what it is. The retired RCMP that are getting called up by Gary, they're temporary foreign workers.
Well, no, they're foreigners. They're from.
Well, no, yeah, you're right. Temporary workers, though. They're temporary workers. Going to be temporary workers until they get the million off of people, and then they'll go back. But I have a question: is there any RCMP that's in this feed? And do you?
Yeah, any RCMP people in the chat?
Because there's a lot of RCMP that watch my show, and so if they. Do you see people, RCMP, that are retired come out so that they could participate in this program? I'm just wondering, like, is this something that's they're saying that they are going to do this. So I'm just wondering, is this actually a possibility?
Well, let's see. Let's see the live chat as it's coming in. RCMP, a lot of Frenchies. One thing I wouldn't be surprised if they brought in temporary foreign workers into policing. I mean, they're
1 second though. They're bringing in I don't know if they're temporary. They're bringing in foreign people, potentially China, to serve in our military.
Yeah, I was kind of getting to. Yeah, it's so crazy.
What if they have all of these people that they bring in, like 100,000 military personnel from who knows where, but we sign an economic ties or whatever, police sharing with China. Mark Carney, by the way, has refused to release his MOU he signed. He has no idea. We have no idea what he signed, but we're going to hire all of these military personnel Imagine this. Think about this, how scary it is. People don't think about things like this, but I do. I think about things like this. I go, you know what? So they're going to hire somebody from another country. We all know where they're probably going to come from. Imagine this. Somebody that is not Canadian, not patriotic to this country, not born here,
who's already military trained. So they've already sworn an allegiance to a foreign military.
And imagine you get an order saying, hey, all these people here, line them up, like bring them up, you know, like, so what I'm getting at is if you're a Canadian citizen and you're patriotic to this country, you're serving this country to protect this country, and the government tells you to do something that is against the people of this country, you're going to tell the government to go F right off. But if you're from a foreign country and you have no allegiance to this country, your allegiance is to the person that's paying you and you're serving them. It's a scary situation, Canada. I'm just saying. The allegiance needs to be to the country that you serve. That plain and simple. When I saw that, I was like, this
straight
is not
up
right.
just a back door to allow foreign military on our own soil. That's all that is.
I don't like it. I don't think it's I think I'm surprised Donald Trump didn't see that announcement and be like, you guys do that, we're definitely bringing tanks. Like, we're coming. Like, this is ridiculous. You can't do that. Like, you know, but instead he just said
like
the
he
bridge.
needs any more press on that one, because I mean he's been razzing Canada with the 51st state stuff, and I mean I even made a flag for it because I think it's hilarious. You know, I'm not serious about it at all, because you know I'm an American citizen, I'm an American voter. I don't want another California in the voter Democratic rolls. You know, like I don't want another big giant Democratic voter bloc to make sure that there's never a Republican president ever again.
I've seen a lot of chatter about trades or trade Minnesota for Alberta. Done. I'm like, no way, we're not losing Alberta. If we lose Alberta, we take Minnesota. This guy, I'm moving. I'm going to become an Albertan immediately.
Oh, and well, you know what? I have a lot of people telling me that. And this is the crazy thing, because I'm one of the few that's talking about how to move to the USA, right? And I know how it is for the, you know, the commentator space in Canada to not they don't want to say that, because like as soon as people are friendly to the idea of like adding to the brain drain of Canada, they get attacked immediately. I got attacked hard, and I still get attacked all the time over it. So, you know, I know there are some creators that are already actively making plans to move to the US, but they're just like hush hush about it because they don't want to get that negative press. So it just is what it is, right? Well, but because of it, I get DMs all the time telling me, Clyde, I want to move to the States, but I've got all my money on Alberta. I want to stay in Canada, but I'm going to move to Alberta. Or Albertans telling me I'm staying here because we're going to do that. But if we lose the referendum, I'm calling you the next day because I want to get this going. I'm like, well, my advice to those people is get all your things in order now, because you don't want to be left like making that decision and then just having to learn how to do it at the time. Like, actually figure out what you need to do, because like most people don't realize like your best bet is to start a business, get that going, make sure that it's, you know, been around for a bit. If you're a tradesman and you work for somebody else, start your own business like right away.
Do you know more information about people that are in the trades? Because remember like a few months ago, they said that they're going to do, they need construction workers. They need like specialized people that for younger people that are looking for, you know, maybe that could be something that you could already start thinking about doing, like the trades or whatever it is, electrician or whatever, to eventually get that better job. And because you got way more pay in the US, way more.
Oh, massive. So if you're just looking to be an employee, that kind of thing, and you're in the trades, you have a lot of experience. Basically, what you need to do is take that experience, gather all the references that you possibly can, any certificates that you have associated with the trade that you have, and apply. I think it's the national interest. It's the EB3 is like the new, it's not a new one, but it's just an alternative to the EB2. And it's still the national interest waiver. And they're they're accepting applications for tradespeople. And that's huge. It's huge news because you can put your application in, and if you're accepted, it can cost a bit of money, but if you're accepted, it's like, it's not a visa. It's, you just get a green card straight to green card, and you go, and your work permit's open to whoever you want to work for, because it's just in the national interest that they have more people with these skills. So yeah,
and I think
definitely
like you could
looking into.
probably do like a work visa to see if you like it first, and then see if you like it, and then
so that's the thing. If you can get a work visa, you're not going to come back. The hard part is getting the work visa in the first place, right?
Well, I'll tell you something. I've always lived in Canada, and I have to say, every day during the winter, that is, I always look outside and I go, why was I born in this country? It's so miserable. Like it's just so dark and rainy. I would love to be somewhere nice like Phoenix or Florida or somewhere where I could, it's winter and you go outside and it's so sunny and it's nice. I go outside. Yeah. It's like, you don't go outside for like 6 months in Canada. It's so bad.
Well, I'm moving to Texas in the summer, and I'm going to tell you, it's going to be brutal.
Summer that will be brutal. So in the summer in Texas, you'll probably want to come visit here and then go back down there for the fall, winter and spring. Summer's back home.
Yeah, that might be the plan. Might have to do that, but we'll see if I'll even be able to enter Canada without getting arrested. I mean, that was like Charlie Kirk. He even said that when people asked him, would you ever do like Turning Point Canada? Would you bring that to Canada? And he said, no, I don't want to be arrested at the border. Forget it. I'm not doing it. That's how, like, he saw things coming, man. He absolutely did. We got Jevon, member for 18 months, says, I'd love to see what the number of Quebecers are watching the CBC. That's a good point. It's probably a higher number. Out of like all the different provinces, probably a lot more Quebecers paying attention, because do they have much competition? I mean, in English, we have the world. We have like most of the world has some sort of English speaking channel in their country. Even in Japan, you'll find English speaking stuff. It's crazy.
So they have Radio Canada, which is pretty big in Quebec.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they would have that, and then I don't know what the numbers are, but it wouldn't be like astronomical. I can't see that. I have a chart I want to show people.
Oh, okay. I'll put that up.
Yeah.
What is it?
All right. So what we're looking at is the economic performance of Canada relative to the United States. Year 2000 to 2025. The dark blue is real GDP per capita. I don't know what real GNI per capita is, but labor productivity. Canada's relative productivity has fallen 26% since the 1990s, the red line. Canada's relative per capita output in the third quarter of 2025 was 14% below levels observed in 1997, which is the blue line.
So GNI is gross national income.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, even our gross national, that's just terrible, man. And you know what else I learned is Canada's economy is, how we showed that money supply and thing. 65% of like the money that's in is from government printing. It's not from anything else. It's insane. Yeah. 65% of our economy is from government spending money.
Do you know 40% of our GDP is residential real estate?
Yeah, that's kind of scary, isn't it?
Isn't that terrifying?
And now in like Ontario, it's crashing. Worst crash since worse than the 1990s. Things are like in the Lower Mainland. The Fraser Valley's not doing great right now. I was looking at the data yesterday. Burnaby's like, it's not great. No one's buying anything. Like, people don't want to buy the falling knife. It's the saying. you let it hit the ground first. So until we start seeing things turn around, and I don't see things turning around until we get a deal with the US. And the Liberals have no intention on getting a deal with the US. It's very sad.
No, because that's a winning strategy.
Yeah, Orange Man bad, get people to, which is so discouraging because it really, like, think about how many people have mental health problems because of their Orange Man bad and tanks are coming rhetoric on a daily basis.
People actually think tanks are going to come across the border.
Yeah,
that's
no,
insane.
they actually think that tanks are coming. They go into like this like, they literally, it's almost like they black out and they just see a red screen. Like when all you have to do is just say Trump, and it, like, you could see inside their eyes, the red screen just turns over, man. It's scary. I'm like, holy crap. Like, somebody shouldn't consume your mind like that, regardless of who it is. Like, it's unhealthy.
No kidding.
Very unhealthy.
Very, very. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. But it's a political tool, and they're using it. This is why I think the Canadians are propagandized to a degree that I think would make the Kim Jong-un blush.
Did you see the data from the Joe Rogan where he showed that the Canadians are the most gullible and acceptance out of the whole world? Like we we're the friendliest and most like, we'll just accept anything. And the US on the other side is like the least accepting. And like, they're like, no, like stand up. And so what they found, and what was interesting, is they showed that the government looked at this data that's available, and they actually used the data against Canadians to the fear campaign and elbows up. And the whole thing was all made up because they know Canadians are, they're just so friendly and comply. And it's what they did to us. It's just like, people need to wake up. They used our kindness against us. How sick is that? It's sick. I don't know if you have the data. I can maybe find it. But if not,
I was looking for it. I can't.
People
find
could just look it up. I might be able to find it. But the data is that Canada is one of the most friendliest countries on the planet. They knew this. They used it against us because we'll just accept things. And they created all these fear campaign elbows up. And you'll be able to see all of Mark Carney's speeches. He just says we're in a dangerous and divided world. None of that was even around before he showed up into our lives. If we had a conservative-led government right now, we would not hear one time how dangerous and divided the world is. We'd say, this is what we're going to do to conquer the world because we're going to be booming, man. Boom, boom, boom.
And politically, the world is moving to the right. I mean, you saw what happened in Germany just over the weekend, what happened in France just over the weekend. Like, it's politically moving right, despite them trying to ban the political parties on the right in both those countries.
The world is crazy. Healing. The world is healing. It's it's gone too
Canada
far, right?
They just don't want to see the doctor.
It's pretty bad. Like, our healthcare system's not that great in Canada. They're like, yeah, but we have free healthcare. I'm like, free healthcare? Have you ever gone to the hospital? In BC, you probably heard this like 6 months ago or whatever. We were having rollout shutdowns across the province because we didn't have enough healthcare providers. And so the BC Health came out and said, okay, listen, everybody, we got advice for you. We got advice. Don't get sick. Don't get sick. Yeah, that's their advice. I said, don't get sick. You think that if I go to the hospital, you think that I chose to go there because I'm like, yeah, I hurt myself on purpose to be here. Yeah, their advice was so ridiculous. I said, yeah, just don't get sick. Yeah, okay. So the last time I've spoken to people, they've waited like over 10 hours to see at the emergency to see a doctor in BC. It's ridiculous.
It's insane how long you have to wait. And then once you get in, all you get is a referral to somebody else to go see and wait.
The people that have been watching my show for a very long time, in June last year, I went down to Portland, Oregon for a wedding, and I wear contacts, and I'm fine. They're dailies. I usually like just at the end of the night, I throw them out and put new ones in because my eyes are quite sensitive to the cleaning solution. Anyway, I had went to a hotel, and inside the hotels, they got the air flowing, and my wife was getting ready. It takes like 4 hours for her. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to take a quick nap, which I don't normally do. And I napped with my contacts in. Plus I was in the hotel room where it's dry with the air flow. So I woke up and my eyes were super dry. It was like cloudy. I was like, man, I can't see. Do you have eye drops? I don't have normally eye drops. She's like, she told me before leaving, she's like, oh, I'll bring some eye drops. So don't worry about it. Cause I was going to buy them at the store. Actually, I said, I need eye drops for my eyes. Anyway, I go to the counter and I drop drops, and it was nail super glue. Same size bottle, same everything. Yeah, nail glue. The bottle's the same. So I poured it and immediately my eyes shut, and I couldn't open it anymore. I was hyperventilating kind of thing. Like, cause I'm like, I can't open my eye. Oh my God, I'm going to go blind. Anyway, the reason I'm telling the story is I missed the wedding, and I went all the way down to Portland for the wedding. I missed the wedding. And then I went to the hospital. Listen to this. I walked in. I could only see out of one eye, but I didn't see any other patients. So in the US, the hospital systems, you don't see any of the other patients. Isn't that crazy? So I didn't see any other patients. When they came in, they offered the people that came with me coffee. And they offered me coffee. They're like, oh, do you want something to drink or coffee or whatever? It's like we went to a hotel room. And listen to this. I saw the doctor within 5 minutes of getting in. They didn't even take my information. No ID, no nothing. I went into the room. There was a doctor within 5 minutes. They're already servicing me without any credentials. And then I was in the thing. They flushed my eye. They did a scan to see what's going on, blah, blah. I was out of the hospital in under an hour and a half. And I just went to the end of reception. I didn't stay long. I just went, I'm so sorry. I hurt my eye. And I had to go lie down, but I did show up to just wish them well. But an hour and a half, and it was the best experience of my life. I said, this is like, I'm like, I would pay. Yeah, I think I got the bill was I think the bill was $4,500 American, but I have insurance. Like I had,
so insurance paid for it.
When I travel, I always have travel insurance. So, I mean, hey, for anybody that travel, especially if you go to the US, it's very expensive. So have travel insurance. But even without travel experience, I would pay $4,500 to get that experience like that with my eye and stuff. I'm like, man, just get it done. I need it flush. I need it. Like in Canada, you know, what's funny is if I was in Canada and I talked to the optometrist when I got back home, and they said, you know, if you were in Canada, you wouldn't have you would have been in the hospital for 24 hours, 24 hours for my eye. And they said, you probably would have permanent eye damage. Because actually, they said I'm really lucky because the glue fell on the contact lens, which saved. I have damage on the side of my eye, which is the white part, but the actual lens, which is the black part, had the contact. So they said, she's like, I've never seen somebody pour super glue in their eye and still be able to see see without damaging the lens. The lens would be destroyed. So I'm like, so I'm actually very lucky. Ugh. But I did say, hey, if I didn't have contacts in, I wouldn't have dropped glue in my eye. So I was kind of mad. I'm like, you know, I hear what you're saying, but if I didn't have these stupid contacts, I wouldn't have dropped the glue. So I hear you. Things were just not good. At least she's like, yeah, but you should be happy. I'm like, I'm not happy. This is not good.
Fair enough. That's a crazy story though. And I had a lot of like, what do they call it? Foreign objects in my eyes as a mechanic. Like it just happens. Even with glasses, don't trust that you're wearing safety glasses is going to save you. Because things hurts. Go like
the glue hurts
and then go right into your eye. Yeah, glue, crazy.
Glue hurts, and the type of glue, it's the strongest glue I've ever seen in my life. It instantaneously hardened, so it literally shut the eye where it wasn't. Even if you can't open, it's super glued shut, man.
With the contact crazy. In there too.
It's called
instant. Drying out.
The glue is called instant cement. It's made for nail glue. It instantaneously contact. It's super glue for the nail, like the fan. That's, you know, I always tell my wife. I tell women, like, you know what, the nails aren't for me. I don't like the nails. Like, you know, I always say
the nails are for you. They're for you.
The nails are for you. Like you want to beautify yourself. But you know, I obviously I'm not into. I now especially.
I have a theory why women do nails.
What is it?
My theory is it impresses other women because it lets other women know that you don't have to have short nails so that you have to work a manual labor job.
Maybe
you can have nails and not have to use your hands because other people are serving you or doing other things.
Have you ever seen a woman with long nails text message somebody?
Yeah, it's just how do you do like they're yeah, it's weird, man.
No, I'm like, I even say, and when I watch them, I'm like, are you having fun yet? Like, are you having fun? And they're like, it's fine. It's fine. I'm like, actually, it kind of bothers me a little bit because you hear the tapping with all the nail tapping.
Yep. Yeah.
It's just like, I just can't. I can't watch you. It's like you're struggling to text. No, it's fine. It's fine.
Don't go to a bingo hall in Detroit. You'd hate it.
Oh yeah, they got lots of nails
Lots
there?
of nails. Lots of nails. Nails so long that they cut little holes and put like jewelry through it.
No
like
way. I've never seen that before. I've never seen that before.
Not kidding.
But I'll tell you, I never liked nails before, but now I really don't like nails. You know, I look at nails and I'm like, those nails almost made me lose my eye. I hate those nails, you know?
Yeah, it's absurd. Anyway, let's get to the next one here. We got Rev Sadie's for 5 says, I know you know Clyde, but Brandon Herrera does a bit called the Darwin Awards. Truly epic. Yes, getting back to gun safety. So Brandon Herrera, do you know who he is?
No.
Mark? Okay, Brandon Herrera is he's a YouTuber. He does gun videos. He's also he's a gunsmith. He's a FFL dealer, so he's able to procure all kinds of crazy stuff. And he just primaried Tony Gonzalez in District 23 in Texas. So now he's running for Congress, and he's going to be the congressman.
Oh wow!
Pretty much a shoe in that he'll win it. But yeah, he always talks about the rules, the safety rules when he does the Darwin Awards, which is showcasing people that didn't follow all the rules, or at least broke 2 of them, which is deadly. And half of the stuff he's not even allowed to show on YouTube. So go check out Brandon Herrera. I think you really enjoy that. He also has another one for 2. Says as it is a military contract, STIG fixed the P320. Okay, so they fixed it. Nobody trusts the fix on the SIG P320. I mean, I'm not gonna buy a SIG P320. I love the people around me too much, so I won't be getting one of those. Yeah, not in my house. You talking too much for 2 says, if the students at Poly were armed, ... I tend to agree. What are your thoughts?
Yeah.
Basically, if people are armed, that's not the place where.
No,
yeah,
exactly.
That's not where mass shootings happen. Exactly.
I completely sorry. I didn't respond because I agree. Yes.
Oh, okay.
I agree. Yeah.
Fair enough. You talking too much for 2 says, I think PP talked MMA to get on Trump's good book. I don't know about that. Apparently Trump's like a big MMA fan.
Yeah, I think Trump, he loves sports. Like he'll go to like football games. He'll go to MMA. You'll see him like come in and like everybody's cheering, you know. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So if he gets on Trump's good books, I think that, Pierre's campaign in the last go around really, it was not good. So the rumor has it that Trump Jr. was visiting, I think it was Toronto or somewhere like that. And he knew that Pierre's team was going to be there, or Pierre perhaps. And so they contacted the communications team, and they were just like, no way, you're cancer. We can't be anywhere near you. And it was pretty offensive. It was pretty offensive to Donald Trump Jr. And of course, Donald Trump's a family man, and like, you don't insult his son, the son that he gave his name to,
So
like,
Clyde, you know what? I really hope that Pierre, I think he's a man of his word. He said he's changed. He's willing to talk to anybody. If He wants to be prime minister, and I see that there is changes. He can't be scared of the left. He can't be scared of CBC. He can't be scared of anything. You know what? The qualities in a leader is you don't ask for permission for anything. You just lead. You lead. You do, and you lead. You don't ask for permission. You do what's best, and then we the public will be the judge. Right? Just do what's best for us and we'll be the judge. And if you do the right thing, we're going to support you. But for you not to do anything and be scared and not take, meet these people that could help you, that's unacceptable. That's not how you win. So
yeah, that's bad.
You know what I think his old campaign manager, what I heard was he was playing not to lose. You can't play not to lose. You have to play to win.
Play to win, yeah, for sure.
So he was playing not to lose. And I think he learned his lesson, I hope, because if you play not to lose, you're going to lose. You have to play to win. And that's life. So hopefully he learned that lesson.
Yeah, he went from like a really significant lead to just losing. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, there was a lot of things that didn't go in his favor. The Liberals are really good at manipulating and using CBC and like creating like the fear camp. Like they're good at getting their base to support them, right? Like
I said that and people got mad at me. I said never underestimate.
It's the truth.
Never underestimate the Liberals. They are very politically savvy, and people are like, they're not smart. Look how bad they govern the country.
They're not smart,
like,
but they're good at
they're good at politics. They're damn good at politics.
Ruining everybody's lives. Like, I mean, the left have a really good way of like just getting they're in your face, and like conservatives are more like laid back. I don't want to bug you. I just want to do my own thing. Like, they just have a way. But I think what it is truth. The truth always wins. So you can't be scared. You need to lead with your heart and truth, but don't be scared. That's the thing. Like, lead with truth. Don't ask for permission. Go with your heart and be courageous. Like, go, and that's how you win, right? So
absolutely.
Man, yeah. I wish I was helping like in the campaign. Like, I just like, you better freaking do it. I'm leaving you.
People were mad at me during the election because I just kept saying it. Like, get out there, get your freaking ass out there in front of everybody. More people need to see your message. And if you don't do it, then the other people's message is the only thing you hear, and you're going to lose. And man, I was trying to shout it. And the thing is, like, I wasn't saying this because I wanted Pierre to lose. I was saying it because I wanted Pierre to win. No. And you know what, Clyde, just keep speaking truth, man. You're good. Yeah. Well, I'm here to get people angry. I'm that guy. And then we got Real Society Unveiled. Oh, he's still in the house. Nice. Yeah. Well, no, this is the super chat that he left earlier. So for $10, he says, hate speech is open for interpretation and should never be moderated by the government. I hate the words most liberals say, but I still believe that they have the right to express their own opinion. Absolutely. Hey, and that goes a long way from him because, he goes pretty hard on the liberals, which is one of the reasons why I like his account. Oh yeah. He doesn't hold back, especially like CBC and Rosemary. It's just classic. His material's classic. So I completely agree. Like, people, I get lots of different comments and different things on the content that I create. And it's totally fine. I'm fine with that. As long as there's no like physical threat or death threat or like, last year, before when I was, last year, there's a group of people that got together and started calling my business. And the thing is, they're trying to get me fired. But what they don't understand is it's your business. They're calling my phone. So, and I'm not going to be firing myself. You're calling. They thought they're like, oh, you need to fire this guy. Like he's not politically left, or like,
you can't have free thought with these people. So they wanted me, so they actively went to get me fired. So that's the thing is like, I feel bad because there's probably other people out there that they could literally lose their job and they have kids and everything. And these people are out there. They're trying to actively destroy people. Luckily for me, I'm like, you're calling my phone. Like, I mean, and I even said, I'm like, yeah, you're, but it was interesting because I could see what they were doing. I'm like, yeah, these people exist. They're not very nice people. I can't believe they would do that. Try to destroy, because we have shared different political views. You're going to try to destroy somebody's family income to be able to feed their kids food. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. People are like that. Even people on the same political side that just dislike you for whatever reason, they'll try to pull shit like that. It's absolutely disgusting in my estimate, but it is, never put people past it. Right.
Yeah. But why can't people just change? Like, if they don't like something, just like, like swipe away or like change. Like, we used to have channels where you could change channel. I don't like hockey, I'm going to watch basketball, or, like, what happened to that? Right.
What happened indeed? What happened to that indeed? It's the world's so polarizing at this moment. And, for me, like, I speak out about these things because I think if the left wins, it's detrimental to everybody. I don't think it's just detrimental to me. I think it's detrimental to the people that are advocating for it. And so, so I raise my voice, and I'm pretty adamant about it, but I'm not adamant to the point of like trying to harm somebody. I just want to say my piece. I just want to convince people. But yeah, some people on the other side, they think so strongly about it that they think that, I mean, you hear the rhetoric all the time, like calling people, Hitler or Nazi or fascist or all these things. And they're actively trying to other people, like make them into these characters that they aren't actually. Like, of all the people that I've heard being called a fascist, the only ones that are actually act like fascists are the people saying it. You know what I mean?
No,
and it's insane. And so it's a way of trying to win the mob over, like an angry mob, and then to be able to justify using violence themselves. And that's where things get dangerous. And I'm not advocating that we use violence against them to thwart it. I'm advocating that we convince people that that's lunacy, right?
Yeah.
And hopefully
that's why I
over.
always say, I'm like, they try to sell us these small dreams, like Canada, they're selling us these 2x2 boxes and these, manufactured homes, and, you're not going to be able to go on vacations, and it's because of Donald Trump and war in Iran, or it's they always blame something else that our standard of living is collapsing. They'd never take accountability. It's time to dream big. We need bigger dreams. That's why I say, where's the prime minister that said, if you elect me as prime minister, everybody in Canada is getting Lamborghinis. That is my mission. And even if we get just a little bit under the Lamborghini, would you not be happy with that? What's wrong with that? Right? Like, everybody
I
gets
love it.
So if we say, I want to choose the Lamborghini guy, where's the Lamborghini guy? Because the people that are elected, they're not giving any vision of hope at all. They're not giving us Lamborghinis. They're giving us, here's the food bank, here's Bill C9, and shut your mouth. That's what we're getting from these people. And I'm sick of it.
Lamborghinis. I like it. You should run on that.
Yeah, I'm the Lamborghini guy. Okay, guys? If you vote for me, I'm going to make sure we all get some Lamborghinis. Let's go.
It'll be like have your melee with his chainsaw.
Yeah, exactly. You got to have something, but at least you're providing hope, right? Let's get better. Let's do better. Right. Let's go on vacations again. Let's buy second properties again. Let's get investments again. How many people out there in Canada have zero investments for retirement, or there's retirees that are 65 years old still working and they'll never retire? This is unacceptable in a country like Canada. You should have a wonderful retirement. So you spend your time with your grandchildren or with your friends and family, and you get to coast and have a good time. None of this working till 75 and you have to sacrifice more and you get less. I'm sick of it. We're done with that. We're going for Lamborghinis. Let's go.
Yeah, you won me. You won me. Rebusadis for 5 says Canada's moving at speeds unseen before, though, just like anthrax from the never-ending story. Yep, breakneck speeds, absolutely.
When Mark Carney said we're moving at unimaginable speeds, which is what he said. When he said that, I'm looking back, I'm like, unimaginable speeds to nowhere.
Exactly. Rebusadis also for 2 says socialism does build things, gulags mostly. Yeah, it's true. They build terrible camps for people to go to. Wickenden for 5 says when you want to help people, you tell them the truth. When you want to help yourself, you tell them what you want to hear. That's Thomas Sowell. Yeah, absolutely. Tell people lies. That makes them feel good. And this is a catch-22 for someone in our position, right? Like we can tell you what you want to hear and it'll make you feel good in the moment, but it's just bullshit. Like it's BS. There's a whole lot of BS going out there. It's when we're telling you what's actually happening. Yeah, you might get upset by it. And you might even turn around and get upset at us. But I mean, what do you do, man? Like I'd rather tell the truth. I'm allergic to BS. So I have to go for the truth.
No, one thing is important for like people to understand is when you are truthful and you have nothing to hide and you're fully transparent, then you could sleep at night. You feel good about yourself. But when you start the small lie, then it leads to the big. It's that I personally, I can't live like that. I just can't. And I actually believe in karma. So, and one thing with karma, and I always tell people this, is karma comes. It comes when you least expect it. People go, I don't believe in karma. But if you tell somebody, like say something happens, somebody did something happens. If you tell somebody that did something bad, say, hey, karma is coming for you, karma gets negated. It's gone. You can't tell somebody that karma is coming for them. It cancels it out. So, that's part of the karma thing. So, yeah, if you tell somebody karma's coming, no, you just walk away, breathe, take 3 breaths, walk away, and be like, yeah, karma's coming. It's all good.
Yeah. Well, some people deserve it more than others. That's for sure. Rebusadis for 2 says, I still identify as an attack helicopter. Well, good for you, man. I'm done with those games and playing liberal BS. I just say it as it is. Wickendan for 2 says India, you can see it from space. I'm drawing a blank on what we were talking about when that came up.
So like, I mean, India, you can see the pollution from space. You can see the lights at night from space. You can see China from space. You can see most countries. Like, actually, you know what's interesting is Canada is like. So I just saw something yesterday. I said Canada's black. The world is on like lit up, and then when it goes, the world turns. It's like at nighttime from space, we're dark. There's nothing.
Oh, we just have like a couple of specks where Canada exists. Yeah, it's crazy.
We're 70% of the specks like right next to the U.S.
I mean, fly over it.
Yeah, there's just fly north. There's nothing up there. Yukon. Yeah. In Yukon, the biggest city in Yukon, which is the capital, is Whitehorse. And Whitehorse has 35,000 in population. Outside of that, and it's 2 times larger than Texas, I believe. The Yukon, and it has and
it's at least 2 times colder and darker.
Yeah, the coldest. I believe the coldest day ever recorded was like -76.
I wouldn't want to. Yeah,
they got cold. No. They got pretty cold at the beginning of winter this year. I don't know if you saw. It was like in the -50 something. I'm like, man, how are these people surviving? That's freezing.
Yeah, Yukon Strong DJ. He's awesome, but like I don't know how he does it. It's just too much. And then the whole like 30 days of darkness in the winter. And then the insomnia in the summer because it's just bright all through the month of July. I just couldn't do it.
Well, there's some people, they're built different. They like that life or death experience of the cold. They're like, you could die up there, man. You need to know what you're doing.
Yeah, just being out, just being there without the proper,
something happens,
shelter.
it's over. So you have to like be very it's that lifestyle, the self-dependency, and I could like, build up the storage and do, like, I get it. I understand where people are coming from. It is that freedom. You feel free. A lot of people like that freedom of not relying on the system and being self-reliant and living in harsh conditions. It's what makes them feel alive. I get it. And then you could also have the hunting and some people, they just don't like, I feel, I actually think about it. Sometimes I'm like, maybe I should be doing that with all these liberals everywhere causing problems for me. Maybe I should be going up to the Yukon. I'm sure I'll meet some like-minded people in the bush up there.
No, you would. You definitely would. Apparently the population's only as big as it is because there's so many government workers. So that's what I got from DJ last time I had him on the show. Because he's like, like half the population here wouldn't be here. And the only reason why they vote that way.
I think they still have gold. What do they have up there? They still have lots of resources up there, don't they?
They got a bunch of stuff. They have a bunch of stuff, but just like most people don't want to live up there. So like, there might be like camps or something for this or that. And then they have the golf thing. That's like the big thing. So in the summer they do the midnight tee offs. So you can play.
Oh, nice.
That
sounds like fun. I love golf, so that sounds like fun.
That would be fun, but I can imagine like if you got like a normal schedule and you fly in there to do the midnight tee off, you're like, okay, this is great. But then you're like, oh, now we have 18 holes and it's midnight. Like that's a long night, man.
Yeah. No,
better be prepared for it.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I'd probably try that.
Yeah, it would be fun. It definitely would be. We got You Talking Too Much for 2 says Trudeau Senior in Club of Rome. If you know, you know. Yeah, if you know, you know. Trudeau Senior was very much in with like the Kitchener, what was it? Group? Well, the Club of Rome was I'm drawing a blank on the main guy in that. Anyway, a bunch of the World Economic Forum types, they were all in that group. And they were the ones that convinced China to do all the things that they're doing. Not the friendliest group of people. Studio MQ4ZP for $13.99. Thank you so much. YouTube's done this thing where the people used to use their handles and now it just shows their @ thing. Awesome. Thank you so much, Studio, for the $13.99. It says, speaking of government control, look up Bill C-36. A centralized board can now discipline or revoke medical licenses over compliance, including personal conviction, ideology, and vacation status. Are you aware of this? It's actually Bill. I said
status.
I said C-36. Bill 36. That's here in British Columbia, and it's screwed right up. And like the whole medical system is out to lunch now because of it. They can. First thing that they did under Bill 36 was they took the College of Physicians and College of whatever, there was like 30 some odd colleges of professions, and colleges of professions are voted on by your peers. You have a license in that, and to practice that sort of medicine, you would vote on who gets to be the representatives, and every once in a while they'd have an election. Well, they scrapped that, and they condensed it down to 12. I think it was 12 from 36, so halved it. And instead, those board members are all the College of Physicians and all that stuff. They're now government employees. So it's not even democratic. It's just like the government gets to do this. And they've opened up so many ways for the government to shut down doctors if they're doing stuff that they don't personally like.
I don't know if you saw, but we're poaching doctors from the United States, specifically the LGBTQ. I've made a video on my YouTube. I just said, this is the doctors we're hiring, BC. We're poaching them. We should be teaching doctors here like in BC to become, doctors and, Canadians. We need Canadian to get these wages, like Canadian citizens. We're poaching. I'm sure the U.S. could have used that doctor. We're taking them. But you know what the thing is?
But we're poaching them for the LGB stuff, like
no. So they had an announcement last week, David Eby, and it's fine. Like, I mean, if he's LGBTQ, that's fine. But the issue is that David Eby's like, look at this beautiful doctor we got. He's a psychologist for children and he's LGBTQ. And we want all the LGBTQ people from the United States to join his friend here in Canada and BC. We're hiring 400 and, tell your friends to come. Like, I'm like, what are we doing here? We should be training the people here. That's the first thing. I have nothing against like that community. Like the community's fine, but it's like,
yeah,
what are you doing? Like, this is ridiculous. And
the other side of the coin too is like, I'm sure they got some sign-in bonuses, but once they realize how it is to practice in
they'll probably leave.
Columbia,
They'll probably leave. The guy seemed like a nice guy. I have nothing against the doctor. I have something against David Eby and his they're nuts. So the one thing is this is not even BC's biggest problem. How sad that is. They're giving away all of not all, but most of Greater Vancouver to 1,400 people. That is insanity. Like, I was born in Burnaby, like born here. This is where I belong. This is my entire life and history. What do you mean? Like, you're giving away what? Giving away title.
Yeah, but your great granddaddy didn't camp on the Fraser River once or twice way back in like 300 years ago.
No, but let's be real. Like, us humans don't own Earth. Like, we don't even own this thing. We're just travelers.
And property shouldn't be hereditary either. That's something that, like, why aren't we discussing this? I think if my dad bought a piece of property a long time ago and then he lived, or my great granddaddy, he lived and he died and he owned that property. Does that make that property mine now? Because I have the same DNA as that guy? Like, that doesn't make sense.
Well, a lot of it doesn't make sense. And the thing is that they're trying to make things right, but make things right for what? Like, I had no part in any of this stuff. I just did everything the government told me to do. I went to post-secondary. I got my licensing for real estate and mortgages. I did everything. I did everything they told me to do. I get my career. I do all this stuff. And now you're telling me that you're going to put me on a piece of wood and send me out into the ocean because I don't belong here? Like, what's going on here? So they're actually waking up a lot of people in the Lower Mainland. In fact, if you look at the polling numbers, it's catastrophic for the NDP. Everybody's waking up in the province going, you know what? We need to get rid of these crazy people that are giving the province.
Well, that's good news.
Yeah. People are waking up going, I'm sick and tired of what they're doing. Whatever they're doing, they're not appeasing their backing, their base. Their base is actually looking at it going, you're not doing this right. You need to fix this. And they're not fixing it. They're going full steam ahead. David Eby was at the signing ceremony and had no idea what they were signing, and he was front row seat. Yeah. He was front row seat, and he was even wearing the scarf, like the First Nation scarf. They have a picture of him with the chief. They're sitting next to each other, front row, and the thing that they're signing is right there. So you're telling me you're the premier, you're next to the guy that he invited you. You're at a signing ceremony and he had no idea what the whole thing was about. And he still, till this day, in Parliament, in legislator, says that he had no idea. And we could clearly see he's lying. He knew exactly what they were signing and how. And the one thing that people need to understand, let's say it's not land, like they're not, land, but it is because the title is in the writing. So it is land. But let's just say they don't exercise the land thing. So the way this works is today they don't exercise. But in 20 years from now, when you forget about this whole thing because you're dead or, you're old, then they exercise. And they forget about David Eby and signing this whole thing, that's 20 years ago. Now we're exercising. Now you're paying your taxes to the 1,400 people, right? And then they start controlling that right away. They could already start controlling the land use of how you could use the land that, you know, they're going to coordinate on how to use the land as shared ownership. It's insane.
Yeah. Now, like if you want to permit, you got to like the natives have veto power. They could say, yeah, I know the city approved your permit, but we didn't.
No, it's down a slippery slope. And guess what? The devil and darkness is done behind closed doors in back rooms where nobody gets a say. And it's supposedly this signature and deal was done in the darkness. Nobody even knew. Actually, the other First Nation tribes had no idea what was in this. They were in the dark too. See, if it was honest dealing and it was appropriate and fair, and it would be in public view, it'd be fully transparent. That's where light is shined. That's where good is created. This was all done in the dark. Terrible. Very bad.
Extremely bad. We'll see how it pans out, because there's a lot of people who own property. I mean, even our good friend Yuji, he's concerned. He's down in Richmond, and it was under the first treaty that was rewarded. It's unreal.
Well, it woke up people in Kamloops where 100,000 people are under claim, and they didn't even know until it was way further on, right? And then the Richmond thing, people were like, oh, you know, whatever. It's just like, you know, it's just like $3 billion worth of properties in Richmond, right? That's how crazy, because they have the commercial properties. I know that the values are in the total values in the billions. Yeah, it's crazy. And but it doesn't affect, you know how people are. It's like, oh, it doesn't affect me, whatever, right?
Yep.
And then Kamloops woke up the whole city there. But now you wake up the woke Greater Vancouver. There's going to be problems. People are going to be like, no, we're not going to go. We're going a different direction. So it's going to, it is what it is.
I can't wait until they claim Ottawa.
They'll claim the whole. Oh, wait.
Yeah, Ottawa's on unceded territory. So
listen to this. Something came out today, and it showed that the First Nations are signing. So they're taking the land once they get the land, and then they're signing deals with China. Signing it over to China. You see that?
So this is something that the U.S. also won't have. It's not going to work. So, and believe me, like if they sign deals with China, the Chinese are like, yeah, okay, we'll buy that land off of you, sign deals, and then what? Chinese Communist Party owns land in Canada, in North America.
Yeah. So if you want to show the screen, I could show you this thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so right here it has major breaking new document. Now that the First Nations in BC have started taking land title, they're developing a strategy to sell the resources to China, who has already expressed interest. BC First Nations Energy and Mining Council have released a roadmap to doing this. And then we'll click on here, and it has First Nation communities in British Columbia are increasingly being approached by Chinese companies that are interested in gaining access to their traditional territories, particularly for projects related to energy and mining. And so the thing with this is us Canadians under the Liberals can't develop anything. We can't develop anything.
No.
They have too many red tape and restrictions. So what they have to do is if it gets turned over to First Nations, they have zero restrictions. They're First Nation. They could do whatever they want. And that's why you'll see like all of the, there was property in Vancouver that the First Nation, the Musqueam took, and then they were building this mega like project that is zoning was like, no, but with the First Nations, they could do whatever they want. And they build these mega towers with like 6,000 units or whatever. And so maybe this is the plan. It's just
Pierre
to give up.
Polyev was actually congratulating them on the Rogan podcast, and I'm like, whoa, hold up on that one, man, because that was a dirty deal. That wasn't exactly something to write home about.
No, but
yeah,
I did hear Pierre Polyev before indicate exactly what I'm talking about. Is the First Nations, they get the land and then they could do whatever they want with it. But at the end of the day, the government still owns the land.
No, it doesn't.
You don't?
They
think
own
so?
the land. No, because their title is above the title. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
And that's the way it's written. It's because of the way the Constitution was written. It's just crazy. I had a lawyer, Wes Musio, on just last week, and he brought on, and I encourage people to go watch it because he talks about the actual legality of it. The reason why, like, you know, it doesn't make sense as like a policy decision, but the way they wrote the law going all the way back to when they wrote the Constitution, because they added in that, you know, the natives have like whatever, you know, like it's right in the document. And because of that written statement in that Constitution, when you extrapolate it all the way to the current cases, the native land is like first domain. It's like the first layer of the legal entity on everything. Don't
you find it interesting that we can't build any pipelines or any energy because the First Nations block it all, but as soon as they take ownership of the property to develop all of it?
Yes.
Then why can't that wake up people?
Because people are just asleep. Yeah,
it's just ridiculous. Like
it's not because they want to return the land to its ancestral hoopty-ha and all that kumbaya. Let's have a bonfire. No, they just want ownership of it, and they want to stop you from being able to develop it so that they can develop it. That's it.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could see this is actually this document I was showing you was it's written in the report, the rationale for First Nations China strategy. So they're already thinking of taking the property and then getting China to come in and do whatever they need to do to get it. Like China will come in with the money and they'll say, hey, we want you to do this with the resources so it benefits China and obviously the First Nations. And guess who gets cut out? Canadians.
Guess who's the last country to try that? Venezuela. Guess how that worked out. I don't see it happening. I mean, with, you know, Trump has really put out this assertion that the Monroe Doctrine is the doctrine. People nicknaming it the Donroe Doctrine. It's China is trying to put power and influence in North America, and that's not going to fly with America, especially a country that can't defend itself. A country that just has not enough military to defend itself, not enough economics to defend itself. You know, America just say like, we're banning trade to Canada for 6 months, and Canada would be on its back. Like, it's just.
So what something came to mind in the House of Commons today. They talked about the Liberals are like, we're gonna create opportunities while still fighting climate change with our carbon taxes and so because the thing is that Franco Terrasano came out yesterday and he had a committee and he said, yeah, you guys got to get rid of all these industrial and fuel levy because you're causing prices to go up. He said it straight up. They didn't. Like
you know what's funny? You know what's hilarious to me is that the Liberals will on one side say that adding levies and all of this to increase the price of fuel doesn't cause inflation, but then when the Strait of Hormuz shuts and they say the price of fuel is going up, that's going to cause inflation, and all the inflation is caused because of the Strait of Hormuz. It's like your logic doesn't add up, but it doesn't matter because it's people they're starting with the conclusion and then they're looking for the justification for the conclusion.
Yeah, and
they're not looking for exactly. They're not looking for real evidence to guide them to build your worldview based on what you see. They're building your worldview based on what you want to hear.
So listen to this, just so I share. Like How many times in the last 24 days since this Iran situation started have you seen a picture of a refinery bombed or a boat or something like a oil field, and it's the blackest, darkest clouds going up into the atmosphere with fire and smoke, and the war? How much CO2 is this war creating? It's insane. And we're worried about paying industrial carbon taxes in a population of 0.04 we're not even 1% or whatever we are of the population of Earth, not even 1%. 41 million out of 8 billion. And we're going to pay for industrial carbon levy when and they're blowing up the refineries on it. It's not making sense. It's time for change. We can't keep doing this, especially since we're in like an economic affordability crisis in this country, with 50% of the population $200 away from financial bankruptcy, which came out in a report last week. I said, man, this is not looking good.
Oh, you know why there's no climate change reported in China, right? It's because they already have a communist government. I mean, that's the goal at the end of the day, is to shut down industry. Yeah, of course, when you see that black soot and the smoke and all that stuff, I'm not worried about CO2 from that. I'm worried about acid rain and other things from all the other chemicals that burn black and all of that. I'm concerned about that. That's genuine pollution. That's something we want to mitigate. CO2 is not a pollution. It's not a pollutant at all. And I love the Trump administration.
It's plant food.
It's plant food. And this is why I love the Trump administration's approach to this, is to just say, listen, we're not worried about this anymore. You know, you've had 30 years of telling us that the sky's falling and sea ice is going and the sea levels are rising, and it never happened. We're not playing this game anymore. You know, if sea levels rising was a real threat, do you think everybody would be buying oceanfront property? Do you think insurance companies would insure oceanfront property? It's a ridiculous notion. So let's move past it and let's get our industry going, because this has been the planned running down of the West, the planned destruction of Western society. And we don't want that anymore. We don't want to work towards the next superpower being China or Russia, whoever, BRICS nations or any of that stuff. We want to build things at home, and we want to encourage you to build your stuff as well. You know, if Iran went, like, for example, Iran, when all the dust settles and all the smoke clears, if Iran goes back to where they were 47 years ago discussing industrialization, that's where they were. They were talking about building steel plants and all kinds of industry and building stuff. Imagine where the world would be if that went forward 47 years ago and didn't turn into this like constant struggle between world powers and who gets to have the manufacturing base. What if everybody had a manufacturing base and we just sold things across the world and we had, trade deals with the different nations, and we're all able to be self-reliant and also provide things to the rest of the world? Like you said, you want the Lamborghini party. That's the Lamborghini party. That's where everyone gets the Lamborghini, is because instead of battling each other over little bits, why don't we all move towards industrialization instead of why is only China allowed to have industrial base? Why can't America have that? Why can't Europe bring it back?
It would be a better world if we all stepped up, because how it is, it's not working. Like the pandemic clearly was a wake-up call for America. It should have been a wake-up call for Canada as well, because when they ran out of medicine, because it all comes from China, when they ran out of all sorts of other things that just come, like medical equipment and all sorts of items, that's a wake-up call. You can't rely on another.
They stopped child's Advil from coming in through the U.S. border. They had crates and crates of it that Canadians needed because the shelves went dry.
I had children at the time, and
they stopped it not because it was against their FDA rules or whatever. They stopped it because it didn't have French on the freaking labels. This is how ludicrous the country is. It's crazy.
And we had shortages, and if a child has too high fever for too long, it causes brain damage.
Yes.
So they could have caused problems. People were freaking out. I luckily loaded up, so I had some. But
yeah,
that was scary. That was scary times for sure.
Okay, we got a couple more chats here. Cindy Wilson giving a $6.99 super chat. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. We've got one from Stu Omsen. Nice. Thank you so much for the $10. Great work, Mark. Keep it up. That was over on your channel, those last two, by the way.
Thanks, Stu. I appreciate you.
And RC Lamoureux for 5 says Polyev is just another con artist. I mean, that's people's opinion. I mean, he is a politician.
I'm gonna just say he's better than what we currently have.
Well, I'm not gonna disagree with that.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna disagree there. Myron Ends for 5 says, if you don't like someone, ignore them. If they live rent-free in your head, you're the problem. That's a good way of looking at it.
I like that. I like that. Good job. Yeah, totally agree with that.
I find, if you're really annoyed with somebody, the best way is to make yourself busy with other things. Like if you just can't stop thinking about a thing, make yourself busy with other things. And then before you know it, you're like, oh, I haven't thought about that person in forever.
Yeah.
And then it's not an issue for you.
One of the things, like if you do physical exercise or cold plunge or go to a steam room, do something that it releases natural dopamine levels, you can't be mad at it. And like try to climb, like if for people that live in the Lower Mainland, you could climb something called the Grouse Grind. It's one of the largest stairways all the way to the top of the mountain. If you climb that, an hour of climbing, or go to the gym and just do something for an hour hard, so your heart's beating. After that, you can't get mad. You can't. You're in a different. I've done it and I've tried. So if you do hard exercise in the morning, and then you're rested, say you have a stressful job and you have to put up with all sorts of people that you really don't want to, and you just want to blow up, you won't be able to. Even if your job's stressful, you'll be like, you know what? I just climbed a mountain. I just did this. Like it changes your life to do that reset or like release. So and this is for anything. So it could be for that person that lives rent free, but in general, if you do hard exercise, I like to do it in the morning so that the rest of my day, I'm not phased. Nothing happens. Nothing, no negativity, that is.
That's a great way to look at it. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Wickenden for 5 says, SSRIs do horrible things to your brain. Lefty behavior and really bad news events are tied to their use. Full stop. I mean, I won't argue with that. I mean, we keep hearing about.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, we keep hearing about a lot of these shooters and all of that. So it turns out a lot of them, if not all of them, are on those SSRIs. That's not great. What were you going to say?
No, I agree. I want to thank somebody in the chat. They put up my
Absolutely.
YouTube channel and X account for people to follow. So you could just go into that comment and follow me there if you and if you're not, that's okay. Like if you like I try to bring some humor, I bring data, and I try to deliver for people daily. Right now it's been a struggle. I have a 7 and a 9-year-old at home. It takes I was saying before, it takes quite a bit of time to create one of I don't just slop and put stuff together. I put together a really good piece of content for people to consume. And, with the spring break, my wife also works. So I'm like, I got kids. Normally they're, in school, and then I'm working on stuff. And I'm the type of person, I go deep into stuff. And if I get distracted, so I start working on, I'm like, oh man, I had to take the kids, to the park or wherever. So.
Absolutely. Well, I'm with you. I'm with you there. I got 2 young ones about the similar age. So we're kind of in the same ballpark. And then I got the full-time job, which, oh man, you know how it's actually kind of tough right now for mechanics. And I don't know, I'd like to ask mechanics out there in the rest of Canada, but in British Columbia right now, it is dead. And we haven't seen it this dead in a very long time.
Why is that people? Why do you have any idea? Because cars break down all the time. So
cars constantly break down, but often when economies are not doing well, people postpone fixing their cars. And yeah, we've not seen it dead like this in a very long time. And I'm not just talking my shop. We've called around, other shops are dead, and all around the Lower Mainland dead.
Yeah.
So
it's, the economy's really bad. Like you look, nobody's buying anything. I've had in my project in my neighborhood here, it's been over a year. Like people, they've dropped the price 300 grand and it's still not selling. It's been a year and they've renovated their property. It looks all right. So I'm looking at it going, if you know, you drop it 300 grand, it doesn't matter what price you drop. You could drop it to $10. Nobody's buying. No one's buying. So even if you drop it, like the market's dead.
Oh, we got, oops. I went to click on one and it was the wrong chat. Tilscab over on Rumble says, everywhere is dead. Shopping malls are empty. Crazy.
Well, not Metrotown. I went there. I'm like, man, does anybody not work? Like Metrotown's always busy.
Yeah, it's really busy.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. I'd like to, hear more about mechanics across Canada, but mechanics right now in the Lower Mainland and British Columbia looks like very, very sparse. That's the thing. I've got Revisades and then 5 communists are just socialists by another name, and people on the left seem to always forget that it's called National Socialism. Yeah, the guy with the funny mustache, he was a socialist. Like there, bar none, his platform was socialism. It was, usurping the means of production and putting towards, I mean, there's no difference. Even though it's a weird one. It's like as soon as a socialist becomes racist, he becomes right wing somehow. It's like, what?
Yeah, that's a funny joke right there.
It's not even supposed to be a joke. It's just that's how it is. That's how they actually like do it. They're like, oh yeah, he's a socialist. Yeah, but he's a racist, so he's a right winger. Like what? No, we don't.
That seems like a bar joke or something, man.
Yeah, fair enough. RC Lemero for 2 says arrests have to happen. Everything is a money scam. Yeah, well, I'm not gonna hold my breath on that one, that's for sure, but appreciate it. Revisades for 2. Don't know Clyde and Mark, but 1 BC looks better than the PCBC.
I agree. I like so I interviewed Dallas Brody a week and a half ago. Yeah, she's the real deal. She's a sweet woman. She cares about the province. She is smart too. Like people, they go, oh, I don't know. She went to Princeton Law. Like she's a lawyer, and she has a woman of faith, and we're lucky to have her, because without her, she was able to pull the NDP more, they were more to the center, like pull them a bit, right? And have that discussion, like she's moving the needle in BC. So like, I agree. The only problem with 1 BC is they don't have candidates. So when I spoke to her, she said, I'm like, hey, how can we make you like the premier of BC? Like we like you. And she's like, we're 2 years out from having a full, like a candidate in every single riding in BC.
Mm-hmm.
She's 2 years out. So she'll
it's
be
hard.
ready.
It's hard not to get the wrong people too.
No,
right?
that's the thing. So people go, well, why can't she find people? Well, she's very, very cautious on people. She's like, they need to be real and conservative. And she's like, I'm not taking no fake conservative. It's a real conservative.
That's what the cons did under Rustad.
Yeah. So she's like, no. She's like, I'm willing to wait 2 years to get a party that is real conservatives, real people that want change and want like a better province. And she's not willing to sacrifice speed to get it filled up. So her advice right now, and that's why I interviewed on my show Daryl Jones on Friday last week.
Okay.
And the reason I interviewed him is he's just a normal dude. He's not a politician. But he's accomplished a lot in his professional career. He knows numbers. He's had lots of success. And what I like about him is he's a man of integrity. If he's going to do something, he's going to do it. And there's no beating around the bush. Like he's a, you know, I like people that are straight up. If you don't like it, too bad. And I like that because I can, you know, like I like people like that. So like, tell me the garbage and then I could deal with it. But if I find out the garbage through like later on, or, you know, find out the wrong way, I'm never going to get over that. I need to know the truth right away. And then I don't want to find out later. And he appears like he appears like that guy. So the thing is I asked him as well, would you support Dallas Brody? And he said, yes, I will unite. I will work with Dallas Brody. And I'm like, well, that's good because, you know, right now we need a conservative and Dallas Brody to work together. That's the only way, right?
Yeah, it is the only way.
Yeah.
And Rustad kicking her out of the party, that was the worst. And then what ended up happening with Rustad, just unbelievable. Yeah, BC Conservatives, real disappointment.
It's sad because I liked John Rustad. I think that he had some good ideas. He was conservative, but what I found out, because I'm like, what happened to him? Like, you know, he seemed like a good guy, but I think he's a people pleaser. He wants to please everyone. You can't be a people pleaser and please everyone. You have to pick something and stick to it. And I heard like there's a lot of in the background, they were talking to him and he was a people pleaser. And then when you're like that, then you could get swayed to fall away from your core values, which is, you know, when he was originally elected, I liked a lot of what he said. He did podcasts too. And I'm like, oh, you know, like he made sense. Right. So it was sad at the end. He was pandering to the left. I just can't do
too much. And yeah. Be conservative. Like stop pandering to the left.
Yeah,
be
conservative.
Stop doing it. Yeah. Enough of this. Like, wow, we're gonna govern for everybody. No, you get voted in on your platform. Stick to your damn platform. We've got Jason says Wyatt Claypool is a member of 1BC. Yeah, Wyatt. I've had Wyatt on the show a bunch. Wyatt came to Texas with us. We went shooting together and did a bunch of stuff. Went for barbecue, all that. That was a lot of fun.
I've always gone along with Wyatt. He's like, you know, that guy that he's just he could hold a conversation, that Wyatt.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and he's smart. He knows his stuff. Yeah. Especially on the political side. Like he's very savvy to like all the stuff that's going on politically. Where are we? Wickenden for 5 says that rule is okay until you're trying to get a stable OC on a PC JS. I don't even know what those are.
No, I'm not too sure what that is.
Yeah, you try acronym things. You're acronyming me to death on that one. I can't figure it out. Myron Ends for 5 says it is the affordability of things. Many will watch a YouTube video to learn how to fix their brakes, etc. Albeit the information is not always right. Yeah. Well,
yeah. And sometimes you start, like I've seen it so many times where you try to, and I've done it personally. I've fallen victim to this. I watch a YouTube video, I just follow it step by step, and then I end up destroying it. For worse, if I had just, you know, not done that, I would be better
taking
off.
it to the shop and got the professional to do it. Yeah.
Like I'm like, oh, I can do that, no problem. Like, look, it's this little pin, it's this little thing. I just have to, you know, I just do that, and you know, take a picture every time I take something out, and then put it back the same way. No, I respect you, Clyde. I can't do the mechanic thing. Once I can't even, I do it. I build the IKEA furniture. It's so frustrating. But when I build it, I go, why am I doing this to myself? I'd pay people to do the IKEA furniture. I have so many other skills. Like I'm skilled in so many things. Some things I rather just let somebody else do. And these are things like mechanic. I just let somebody else do it.
I'm not going to criticize people for wanting to do things themselves and learn more skills, though. Like, I mean, I have a PC that's way better than anything I could have bought because I built it. You know what I mean? And I had to learn how to build a PC. I didn't know how to build this PC when I started building this. So, I mean, there's a bunch of things like that.
No. It's just a PC and different things is fine. I'm just referring to vehicle. That's it.
Oh, okay. Well, you know,
building
there
stuff is great. It's IKEA though. No, not IKEA. No, because whenever I don't know if you've, every time I get an IKEA, buy something, I get I look at the thing to build it. And first of all, it's like a Chinese instruction. They don't put the
language,
things in
no
the
words.
right. No. And then when I'm like, what kind of, like the picture's not right. So you have to kind of decipher, is it supposed to be? And then guess what? You never have enough nuts or bolts or whatever they give you. You're always missing. I'm like, at the end, I'm like, really? I'm missing 3. How could they sell you something and missing 3 things? But that's what you pay for when you go to IKEA. You get junk. Plus, once you buy the IKEA furniture, you can't take it apart and then rebuild it again. It's a one-time use.
Oh, what? Why? Why was that?
Well, when it doesn't like, most of the stuff is garbage, man. You try to you take it apart and try to put it doesn't last, the stuff. It breaks.
Oh, fair enough.
It's cheap, man. Cheap stuff. Cheap China stuff.
I know a lot of it's made out of like really cheap pine, and that's how they save money. They use just like really cheap materials.
I despise the store, but my wife is always at IKEA. I'm like, you better not be buying anything. I rather spend more money for like nice, like, you know, like the stuff that's gonna last, you know.
Yeah, good furniture like people used to buy and used to be like handed down as like dowries and stuff. You got like a hutch cupboard that went.
Hey,
like
Moose and the
7
Loose just left a
generations.
comment.
What, really?
Yeah.
No way. Hey, Moose.
Moose is in the house.
David. Oh, wait. It's moving so fast. I tried to get it. Moose says, I've done it before. Haha. You just need to add some 2x4s to reconstruct it. There you go. That's how you get it right there.
Yeah, I've done
Thanks
that
for popping
too.
in, David.
I've done that too. Yeah, it's so frustrating.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm in the middle of a big move. I'm downsizing all my IKEA stuff. It's downsizing it to, well, Facebook Marketplace and then to the dump if nobody wants it. And then from there, it's like try to pack light. Big old move.
Dude, I feel good for you. So sometimes a nice reset where you get rid of everything. I look at some stuff, I'm like,
I like
man,
that.
it'd be nice to just start fresh. I've done that with my socks and underwear. I throw it all in the garbage and start fresh. Feels nice. Especially, like I like that stuff.
Especially
like,
socks and underwear.
Get rid of all of it. Start fresh.
Maybe I'll do that, but yeah, fair enough. All right, what was the next one? We got Nomad IKI. I don't know if that's supposed to be. Anyway, thank you so much for the $13.99. Says just a super sticker. Well, thank you so much for the super sticker. Appreciate that. No message. And you talk it too much for 2 says Mark Carmeni. Oh, okay, fair enough. I think that's spelled with a K, but yeah, the Ayatollah Mark Khomeini. Yeah, that's what we're dealing with here in Canada. That's the state of things, I guess, the State of the Union. Man, Mark, we've been going long. I don't know if I've done a live stream this long. 3.5 hours almost.
Dude, we could talk all night, Clyde.
Absolutely. But at some point I gotta go to bed because I gotta wake up and make videos and take my kids and do stuff and then go to work. Oh, what a schedule. I have a late start tomorrow though, thankfully. Not for great reasons though. It's because the economy is not doing so hot and there's just not a lot of work at the moment. So things are that way. And I empathize, with other people that are going through this and maybe have a struggle making ends meet because of it. So, my thoughts and prayers and everything go out there for all the people of Canada that are really, really hurting over this. So, some of us are a little more fortunate, you have other income streams and things like that, but it really can be tough for people. So
yeah, I agree. Yeah. And that's why I wake up every day and work so hard, because we need change in this country and have better opportunities for everyone.
Absolutely. One last quick one from Myron Ends for 5 says, look for a place that takes furniture donations to help people in need if you can't sell it. Great point. Actually, there's a few places in town and we do that. Sometimes they turn you away though, because they get overloaded. So one thing we do is we'll take pictures of it, and then we'll go in and we'll say, we have this, this, and this. What do you want? and saves you the drive if they don't actually want it. So yeah, great advice. And thank you so much. And thank you to everybody for coming out. Full packed group of people tonight. Hard to tell where everybody was on what platforms. A lot of people in the chat from YouTube, but there was people from everywhere. Facebook, we've got Twitter, we've got Rumble, and 2 different separate YouTube channels. So thank you all for coming in. It was fantastic. And Mark, thank you so much for filling in for Marty. That's amazing.
Honestly, I'm honored when you sent. I'm like, oh man. I mean, hopefully, I could fill the shoes of Marty. He's always pretty good as a consumer of your content as well. And I want to thank everybody that took the time to watch the live and participate in the comments section. And I'm looking forward to continue to produce the content for everybody. So, and thanks so much, Clyde. It's always a pleasure coming on and doing a show with you.
Absolutely. Stay on the line. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody on every single platform. Good night, everybody. We'll see you all in the next one. Everybody, good night.